which we'll be able to get into tonight. So I want to thank him. Thank those that have stepped up to support the state of the city. Of course, our Cash App is $SOTC Muhammad, and our PayPal is DarenMuhammad@gmail.com. So support independent, imperative Black media today like never ever before, because as we've seen over this past year, the censorship by big tech, by fake media, and just last Saturday after I played on my show on WFBR, the clip of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan speaking at the Nation of Islam's annual Savior's Day, in which he, of course, encouraged many of our people not to take the injectable synthetic pathogen, which they call a vaccine. And of course, I played the clip from beforeitsnews.com, which I'm gonna get back into this Saturday and play that, because either way, I mean, if they shut us down on YouTube, then we just have to look at setting up a backup channel on YouTube, and if they shut us down again on Facebook, then of course, as I've been saying, we're gonna go to Parler, we're gonna go to Telegram, we're gonna go to Rumble as it relates to YouTube, but we got to continue to get the message out and the information out. If I was telling some foolishness or talking foolishness or sharing lies or pushing the stories that the mainstream news media is pushing, and their pawns, black, brown, red, yellow, and white, of the 1%ers, then you better know that my YouTube channel would be being promoted heavily. My Instagram would be promoted heavily. Facebook would be promoted heavily. And so we just encourage you to support strong independent media, and those, again, who have shown over this past year that when others have decided to abdicate their responsibility, we continue to step up, speak out, stand up, and go harder in terms of bringing this information. And with that, speaking of one who have gone harder and continue to be consistent and persistent, I'm honored to have one joining me on our Facebook Live and Instagram Live, and he's right down the road in Washington, D.C., which we, of course, call it Chocolate City, the city of Marion Barry. But he's a brother who's been consistent and persistent, and the work that we've been honored to do together over the past, since we've come together over the past 8, 9, 10 years now. I've been honored to work with this brother and other brothers and sisters in the DMV region. So I want to take this opportunity, introduce the son, reintroduce the others. Welcome back to my brother, who we were hoping to have on last Wednesday, hoping to have on last Saturday, but I said, of course, let's do a fresh start and bring him back up this Wednesday.
And make it work.
We want to have him live in person and in living color in the studio of WFBR 1590. So let me welcome back to the show my brother and friend, Dr. Randy Short. Peace, brother. How are you?
Brother Daren, I'm good, but technology has been kicking me in the behind tonight. My sister's my witness. You know, they're doing stuff to the YouTube. Do you know, I couldn't even get on my YouTube channel.
I couldn't. My
And it would not open up, waiting for the catch to open. You know, I basically want to tell anybody criticizing us, go to hell. Try to set up for these things and everything not work, just as the show's about to get done. And I'm not talking, I never had a problem getting on StreamYard until a following grew. And then all of a sudden it just, like I was told, if you hardwire it, will work. Well, it's hardwired.
Right. Yes,
Today, for the first time, I tried to tether it to my cell phone to get it to work. For the first time, it's asked me in months. It asked me for a password. It never needed a password until today.
Yes, sir.
And by the way, they're doing it everywhere. I tried to get into Hulu last night. Everything has been, they're asking for passwords. You need to do this. You need to have 8 or 9 codes. Your computer, nothing's happened to my stuff. So, you know, like I had someone write me some stupid note. And basically, if you have a problem with my technical stuff, please go to hell. Please never see me again. It's like, I got the stuff and I'm going to get more. I can't wait until I get my government welfare check. I'm going to get the rest of my stuff for podcasting, my microphones.
Right.
If I get my emergency disaster stuff, it's going to be New Jack City in here. It's about capital. It's amazing. I'm going to just say, our people hold folks to a standard to a standard of CNN, the same people enslaving your mind and propagandizing against you, and they're being paid. Sometimes the people have small hats on, sometimes they're big. Sometimes the sideburns look like spaghetti that's been dyed black. They've got all kinds of capital to make it look nice and pretty. You know, everything shiny isn't good. And if you can't tell excrement from Shinola, you need to just shut up. So anyway, I just want to say to all the people, Brother Daren is a jewel of Baltimore. I am, all I can say is that these are interesting times, Brother Daren.
What's your contact information where you can be reached?
Oh, wow.
And also, of course, how you can be supported.
Okay, let's do this for once and for all. And by the way, a lot of folks have been supporting. I mean, it always can be more, but I'm thankful. Look, they're shutting my Facebook account down any day now. So Randy Short on Facebook may not. I will not. You can't catch me there no more. So you need to look for Randy Lancaster Short in Facebook. You can find me Randy Short 1965 on Instagram. I'm Dr. Randy Short, I think, in Twitch. So I got a Twitch account. We got making all these new accounts. And of course, you can always email me, wrandyshort@gmail.com. That is both my Zelle and my PayPal if you want to send me a buck or two. My Cash App is Dr. DRRANDYSHORT, Dr. Randy Short. And wow. And of course, my YouTube channels. There's Randy Short, there's Randy Lancaster Short. One is sort of neglected. I'm recovering from like a cold that's like deep and sinus infection that kicked my behind. It's about over. And so this is like basically almost my debut, Brother Daren, to come back into this because I've been out for a minute. And
before we get into anything else, so let's talk about it's been 1 year. Tomorrow is the 11th. So there's some signs, symbols, numerology, and gematria. Just in that 311, right? 3-11, 3 times 11, 33. All of that. Also, of course, 9 years or 10 years tomorrow. The Fukushima attack on the people of Japan, which took place on 3/11/11. But it's be 1 year tomorrow that the World Health Organization declared not an epidemic, and I always jokingly say most Americans don't know the difference between an epidemic, a pandemic, pandemonium, or anything else. But the mere fact was the World Health Organization declared tomorrow being the 11th pandemic. And they talked about anytime there's an epidemic that affects multiple countries and continents, then they declare it a pandemic. I want to get your thoughts on looking back 1 year tomorrow, as a good criminologist would always say, and a good researcher, as our late brother Steve Coakley would always say. Baba D. Greg, keep on up. Who benefits? Who benefits from what we saw over the year?
It's obvious that the people that want a one world government have benefited. The people that want to destroy freedom, the people that want to practice eugenics writ large, the people who are billionaires who want to create a kind of feudalism where basically maybe 200 or 300 people own everything and the rest of us are expendable. We'll never be able to make enough money. You'll need to be drugged up and shots all the time to make everybody sick, and we'll slowly die off. Somebody wants that. There's those little Georgia Guidestones. Even if you don't believe it,
Right.
It's happening. You know, I got an article this morning, a medical article,
Right.
not from Alex Jones, not from anybody. A medical article saying that the vaccine, in particular Johnson & Johnson, destroys the body's immunity to cancer cell formation. When I shared it on Instagram, they blocked me. I used to be able to send stuff to about 35 people.
Yes,
Now I can only send to 10.
Right.
And so, like I told you, I'm off Facebook. All I did was I said I don't want ignorant black people posting on my wall or on my wall. I don't want any black liar in denial blaming Trump for Obama's destruction of Libya writing me. And they told me I was inciting violence and intolerance and racial hatred, and I violated community standards. And that's a damn fact of history. And the same way they're making a butthole into a vagina and a man into a woman, they're now making genocide healthcare. As abortion is healthcare, so why not just and give us? In fact, the babies get a jab of saline. That's the number one way to kill a baby is put salt up in the mama. Now they're giving us this junk, and anyone that dares say anything about it, their doctors are censored. By the way, I want to say to everyone on your show, I was in the room. I shared space with someone who got diagnosed with COVID. If I had it for like a day. I took the hydroxychloroquine and 4 elderberry tablets. I'm serious. I had fevers, chills, all of that for like one night. When I got up, I said, "To hell with this." I took a hydroxychloroquine and 4 elderberry tablets. You know what? My fever, the temperature, sweats, chills, gone. 1 hour.
Talk about again,
1 hour.
Over the year, what we've seen with that is that again, anyone that offers alternative or imperative,
not alternative, proven medical stuff that works. You that's why I got put off. Let me tell you, I'm not supposed to be on YouTube, brother, for until next month. I don't know why they changed their mind. I mean, I was shocked. One day, Brother Ron Hurd called me and says, "Man, maybe they let you back on. Maybe it's just as Ron, these devils, they on their business." And Ron just bugged me and said, "Okay, well, F you, Ron." So and it came on. They never told me. So they had me thinking I would be back on April 30th. Why did they put me off? I had a video of me taking a hydroxychloroquine pill. That I didn't tell anybody else to take it. I didn't talk about the health benefits. I just showed me taking it. That had just the word about this makes, mind you, none of the stuff that they've injected into 100 million people has been tested or proven or any of that. And it's no guarantee. They'll tell you it won't keep you from getting it. Well, it doesn't get rid of it. It doesn't do this. It doesn't do anything. But you need it. You got to have it. And yeah, you can die. You can get sick. You can't sue us. And I'm thinking and by the way, since I'm on Obamacare, my stuff is free. So the option was, they know the people on Obamacare would be alive today if they got their pills like I did, but
cheap and expensive.
But if people in Senegal can afford hydroxy, and the Senegalese on the CFA, and it's like 254 CFAs to the dollar, means that those pills can be made for less than a penny.
And that's one of the things we're seeing with these so-called Western pharmaceutical companies, even with this injectable, again, synthetic injectable pathogen, they're not willing to give via the World Trade Organization the patents to any other countries, right? Because they got a patent on this. So if they really was about, again, healthcare for all, then they wouldn't have not had total control over the patents and don't release it to India, to other countries.
But India has it. The other countries make this stuff. This is the reason that they don't want. Look, do you know Donald Trump? I know folk hate Donald Trump. Donald Trump sent, I think, 400 million doses of hydroxychloroquine to Brazil.
That's right.
And that racist guy down there wouldn't hand it out. They wanted the people to die. And this is stuff in your face, you know.
But yet, when you Google and read the stories about how the vaccine makers are saying to countries in Latin America, countries in Africa, even some cities and states in America, if they want the vaccines, they got to offer up like economic hitmen, as John Perkins said. They gotta privatize their land, their public assets to the vaccine companies. You know this is what's taking place, right?
Well, I did not know that, but I'm not surprised.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised, but you see, Biden's an economic hitman. What he did the other day when he was talking about his son, right? If they didn't get that prosecutor fired, they weren't going to get the $1 billion. That's an economic hitman.
That's how they operate. That's right.
And so Biden is nothing but an economic hitman.
That's right.
And
Yes.
but people love him. They love him. You know, he's a hero, and you know what I'm saying. We just had to. We got to get Trump out of that house. Well, he's out of the house. Is anything any better? In fact, they better give us some checks. If they don't come up with them checks soon,
Right.
if they don't come up with that money soon, we're in trouble.
Yeah, we're gonna talk. But now, looking back again a year ago, talk about the effects that this shutdown has had on the mentality of the people, in terms of jobs.
Oh God, man, the suicides, everything. This thing is. Let me tell you, I didn't hear from my god brother for a couple of days. We were supposed to hook up. I called him. He learned his father died last Wednesday because of COVID. He couldn't even go to the hospital to see his father. Even he had to find out after he died. He can barely call. You can't spend any time. It's completely monstrous. So that just happened to my god brother. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then police brutality and all has increased. Last Wednesday, a cousin of mine who was rogue, but you know what? We've had 45, 46 rogue presidents. No one's thrown them off the building. Allegedly, the police threw my cousin off of a building in an exclusive white area in D.C. I mean, he's thrown to his death, 44 years old. Whether he was rogue or not, I had another rogue cousin who was in Jessup prison raping everybody. His name was Dwight Welcher. It's a real name, a real jailhouse rapist. I'm really damn. But you don't want someone to die from AIDS in prison.
That's right.
You get where I'm coming from. And we black folk need to be very careful whenever we start sanctioning folk offing and destroying.
Right.
Even one of us,
right.
Unless it's like some real awful pedophile rapist like a Jeffrey Epstein, man, throw him out a helicopter over the ocean somewhere, find a piranha river in the Amazon, put him in there. But the average person, no.
That's right.
So the police brutality has gone up, but you don't hear about it because Biden has changed all that. Black Lives Matter is silent. All these things are quiet now. Now that Trump is out. Okay. The other thing that's happened, all these small businesses got cheated. They didn't get any money. They didn't get any help. The rates of poverty have gone through the ceiling. If you look at, there are a lot of people that are food insecure. I don't know if people are aware, but in, say, West Virginia and Mississippi, in particular the Mississippi Delta, 25% of the people go to bed hungry every night, 1 in 4. That's mostly children and old people. And West Virginia, it's the same. This is all. So people are food insecure. People are water insecure. People don't have money for electrical power, for anything. People have been ruined by this. And
the effect that it's had on, again, the religious institutions, right? In terms of the churches, the mosques, synagogues, temples.
Well, you know, my feelings are kind of mixed there. Because, you know, I'm telling you, some of these coon preachers, and some of these coon preachers have rooked and grifted our people for 150 years and have done nothing in return, you know. And
Right.
you know, you go in the neighborhood, see a palatial church, and you're walking, stepping on people like they're rain puddles to get into
Right.
the places. This, how do we have a homeless problem in this country? A third of the babies aborted black, half the people in jail black, half
That's right.
the murder rate in the country black, half the homeless
Right.
people black.
That's right.
Pardon me, where's the goddamn church? I'm kind of glad those niggas have been shut down. Forgive
Right.
me.
Right.
And I love God. I mean, I'm gonna have a Bible study tomorrow, but I'm angry. There's more than enough money that's collected by these coon ministers. In fact, when I was in church, I went to church for like the first time in like, wow, more than a year.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I
We
went to
talk
the
about.
church and I just had to say to my cousin, who's my cousin's husband, who's a bishop, and I just said to him, the problem is you got too many coon preachers. Okay, I says I wish all of them had COVID, or I wish they'd get a quintuple booster shot of the stuff they're handing out.
Right.
Get rid
Right.
of all of them. Y'all won't help us. You won't.
Right.
You won't even talk to people about right and wrong. So I kind of like that. And by the way, these white churches that supported slavery, credit redlining, they're against us getting reparations. To me, it's kind of cool to see white people live like black people. This is like a science fiction novel where white folk have to follow rules and such. Whoever thought you'd have to see white people do what they were
And
told?
yeah, and then talk about again. When you talk about again, you said you talk about the churches, but of course, mosques shut down, temples shut down, synagogues shut down. And the interesting part is, like you say, where did all the terrorists go? Right? Did they go on vacation, staycation? Like, you ain't
Well,
never heard
look,
about
the terrorists are the people on that fund this, and these are governments and other people that promote warfare and death. It's not the ordinary people. In fact, let's be honest. I've seen, you know, I always tell you, my dad was a chaplain at Howard. I grew up watching African students be terrorized by the INS. I'm talking about Africans that did everything right. I even used to do stuff every now and then with the foreign students thing, and a foreign student couldn't flip a hamburger off campus if they were African, if they and not get deported for even doing any kind of job. You mean to tell me you're down on whether this guy got an extra $50 in a week? You can monitor that, but someone comes over here with C4 stuck up there behind, you didn't see it. I just please. And if all of the Muslim world was so violent and terroristic, you wouldn't be able to get any free oil out of them. So I'm just saying. So I mean, what's happening here? I mean, the suicides are up. I mean, but that was already up. People back to opioids and not talking about it. I'm telling you, if we just hold on, black folk, and stay out of it, there may not be any more of these little hate groups. They were all like meth, and but you know what? We can't compete with their suicide, killing each other. Did I send you that video of the Negroes having a gunfight in Minnesota? You would think that could happen to the guy who killed Big Mike, or, you know, it's interesting that a white killer cop, with the exception of that guy in New York, where God, what's Lynn's last name? It's not the same as her husband. The white woman attorney, Lynn Elliott. No. You know who I'm talking about. There's a white woman that was in jail. She'd represent all the black cases. I'm gonna have to pull up my phone because
why you bringing it up? Let's talk about again what we saw over the past year, where you had elected officials, local level, state level, right, using the public health emergency to take away more rights of their citizens, right? As
sure.
We saw in New York, as we saw in Maryland, but in New York and Maryland in particular, in terms of Cuomo, because he was the deputy chairman of the National Governors Association. The chairman was this governor here in Maryland, Hogan. We saw Cuomo taking those who had the corona, putting them in nursing homes for patients who didn't have
And so did the governor of New Jersey.
So the governor of New Jersey, the governor in California, right? And most of them was Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that because again, we still haven't gotten the actual numbers in terms of the deaths in nursing homes of many of our elderly under Cuomo. But talk about how these governors and politicians took the public health emergency and took more power for themselves, took power away from their constituents, and we didn't have any transparency to know how much is this costing the taxpayers in terms of are they going into the rainy day fund, reserve fund, one to pay for these vaccines, right? Because nobody is saying who's footing the bill for all of this that they're pushing. But let me get your thoughts on that.
Let me just say this to you. Not only is nothing free, but here's the real issue. How many billions of dollars do the universities get every year for research and development money, which means the public pays for the development of every drug that they then sold to us at a premium? And by the way, one of the last things that the man we love to hate, Donald Trump, did was demanded that the drug prices be dropped to the same price for Americans as what's sold from overseas. And you didn't hear anybody mention it because the main people that do advertising for the media, that's print, television, are drug companies. So no one knows that Trump tried to rebel against the drug companies. He did it. And Biden, this deviant, degenerate, morally depleted monster and sex predator that you voted for overwhelmingly. And it's interesting, all the women that voted for a sex predator. You know, y'all talk about equality and feminism. The biggest cheerleaders of abusive women are often confused women themselves. Yeah, I said it.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I said it. My God. I mean, if all women were on their square about being treated decently and fairly by men, they'd be able to hook up with the men who don't like it either, and it would stop. But there are way too many women in service of misogyny, abuse, and they're enablers, if not participants in the abuse of women and children, and often they abuse men. I just had to put that in there because I'm always lipping off at feminism. I HATE feminism. It's in fact, that's the other thing. Husbands and wives. Remember Rock'em Sock'em Robots? There was the blue one and the red one. I mean, man. If I were into domestic violence, this would have been a great year for home movies. Just people getting divorced, people fighting. I mean, parents who can't stand their kids. Damn, why not get an abortion? I mean, not just one, like 4. I mean, parents who've never had to spend time with their children. Parents who haven't taught their kids how to read, haven't had a conversation. You're so busy buying them expensive shoes that cost $1 to make that you pay $300 for, that you're buying stuff that you can't afford for them to wear, and they're going to get shot in the head over wearing anyway. You've never had a conversation with your own children. A whole lot of people finding out that they can't stand each other. My God, it must be good sex because I hate you. I hate your cooking. I hate being around you. You know, a lot of this stuff is going on. People finding out that they've been living bubble, fake lives. Now, I got to come back and talk about the coon preachers.
We're going to talk about that. But talk about the effect that this past year, again, children from
well,
school, college, who have not gone back to school, and now
thank you.
It wasn't learning in terms of what they were teaching in school. Now they have a nerve to talk about the digital divide, right? And this is what gets me when they talk about the corona is a pandemic. You say, wait a minute, poverty's not a pandemic?
Racism's a pandemic.
They say, wait, if it's happening across multiple countries and continents, clearly all of that's a pandemic, right?
Yes, it is. And oppression's a pandemic. Mass incarceration's a pandemic. And I want to thank Brother Sean Brown. The name wouldn't come to me. Lynn Stewart. I know her husband's last name, but I couldn't remember. I hate to say it, you feminists, y'all really mess stuff up because you have to remember 2 sets of names for a person. Her name isn't Lynn Pointer, although she was married to Ralph Pointer. It's Lynn Stewart. That's confusion. That's the start of men pissing in the women's restroom, is folks not conforming to a role. And this pony, this perverted pony rode into town on the women's movement. Now, what I was going to say about the children and everybody else is that if you were expecting to have a prom, you didn't have one, a graduation, and a lot of these things are superficial, but we've been told it means all that. So and so there are folks committing suicide over breakups with their lovers in school. Imagine no prom, no base. So people who had wanted to get an athletic scholarship, how can they prove that they can play since they never got to play? All kinds of things. But I'll tell you, there's going to be homeschooling, which is the best schooling anyway. It's to teach your kids at home. And I really like this. What I love most about this, and I'm going to bring it back home, there's a whole bunch of we black folks have made children. I haven't procreated, but I hope to. You know, y'all can contribute to my Viagra fund. Okay. I save them up, man. I save them like silver dollars. But I use them when I need them. It's never too late to start making babies, as long as you're married. Look, a whole lot of black folks have been neglecting their children. A lot of folks have seen it as somebody else's responsibility to take care of their children. And by the way, they're very negligent. And being a teacher, some of the kids who truly needed their parents to call anything, I'm going to just say a whole bunch of black mothers are sorry. They're not like my mother. That's right. You simp black men have been begging for sex so much because you're so into your flesh. You don't want any integrity in a woman. And then these women get heads all souped up. Even when they weigh 900 pounds, they think that they like Beyonce. No, you're more like Flipper or Orca. You are not pretty. And you may have 5 or 6, and the more kids you have, the more men running from you because no one can afford to feed you and the kids too. You know, like you look like you could take down a golden corral by yourself. If you're going for lunch, they don't have dinner because you ate them out. Okay, these types of negligent behaviors of black folk are the systems. There was no guarantee that there were going to be teachers to teach you anyway. I've seen this happen where the schools open late and the parents were ready to commit acts of violence for the schools not being open. But when the schools are open, you can't bring your ass up once in 12 years for a PTA meeting. That's right. You know, and no, you're a sorry ass woman. You're so busy trying to be a dude that you're a failure as a mother. You're a failure as a human being. Your kids are failing. You failed them. And you failed when you hooked up with the dude that wasn't going to commit to you. And you didn't want a commitment. You were just kicking it. These chickens of this illegitimacy and bastardy are coming home to roost, and there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. They can lie to you on CNN and tell you you're a queen. You're not a queen. You're a hoe with a bunch of kids. You're the little woman in the shoe who's a tramp. And there are a whole lot of simp dudes that lay with you, and this is and the resentment that the ladies have, I'm left with the kid. Well, damn it, you're a woman. Women have kids. The answer to that is don't give it to everybody. Right. Okay, so they will try to reverse the order and somehow make men have the key. But then you can't get the child support, and you can't get the WIC, and you can't get the Section 8, and you can't get the preferential treatment, this foolishness. These things are attacking a certain element. And there's something else. Obesity. Yeah, now this is me in this church site. I don't have man titty. I may have had it last year, but I don't have it now. Okay, and I didn't have it cut off for too long. And I think there's a certain man in my family, although I don't think I'm divine, who had a little book called How to Eat to Live. That's right.
That's the big issue with our families is the health. You got to take care of the health.
You know that if you're fat, and all these liar black people out here, I got a family full of fat people, and you get tired of seeing them die. So fat is out, fat is ugly, fat is unhealthy. Big bone my ass,
Right.
lose it. When I got too big last year, I says, "Oh hell no, I'm not gonna weigh 250 pounds.
Right.
I will not. I will starve first. I'm not gonna be one of those fat black people." But
With the big media, fake news, and big pharma pushing the injectable pathogens, right? None of them have talked to the people about taking the vitamins, right? The herbs, the things that they need to do.
Mhm.
You've never come on and talk about the importance of that. They're opening up stadiums right now so people can come in and get these synthetic pathogens.
and you know what? A lot of
They
folks,
never take us out to the stadium so we can get some vitamin A, vitamin
because
B,
they can't watch.
we get some colloidal silver, but none of that information.
You know why? And there are a whole bunch of people who want to watch HBO Max all day long, and they don't want to do any kind of, it's warming up, as you know, DC and Baltimore have similar weather. And once we put my godbrother's dad in the ground, I got to go and get mulch and clean up the backyard and start the process, right, of doing my garden. The strawberries are growing, so they're already growing. They survived the winter. And it's physical, but it's beautiful. It's creative. People don't have to go to the gym. You can start a garden. You can grow flowers. You get what I'm saying? We can do something for ourselves. But you're 10 times more likely to die from this biological weapon that they made if you're fat. If you're fat.
Heart disease, right? Number two killer is still, I think, cardiovascular. Third leading killer is doctors' mistakes in the hospital. More people die from medical error than they die from this so-called.
More people die from infections because the doctor picks his booty while he's doing your coronary bypass.
Right. Infections. More people dying from. When I worked in the hospital, I used to work in shock trauma. The number one problem was MRSA, right? And E. coli, staph infections, but they don't give that information. So again,
because if it look,
COVID and then recovered from COVID, but they don't tell the public
a whole bunch of black people have never really lived in or around other people to realize that, there's some things there. When we went to school, there was always someone that was dirty and nasty, and they caught hell. Do you know if you're in a white school, there are a lot of people dirty and nasty, and it's not a problem. My son is special. Yeah, he hates water. Okay, if you were dirty and you went to school when we went, I remember one teacher brought a scrub bucket and a brush, and she got prepared to scrub a student down in front of everybody because they smelled so bad. She had a hard brush. Her name's Mrs. Ferguson. She's sort of like a cross between Frankenstein and Billie Holiday. And she was going to scrub this student in class and says, if you don't want me to wash your ass, wash your own.
That's right.
I'm paid to teach you not to smell you.
Right.
And I'm serious. But other people and I've worked with them. Spanish people picking boogers, flip your head. Dude, so what? Didn't you see that story with Venus? No, it was Serena, whose husband didn't know about towels and such. Right. She's got to teach him. People think and we're so sad. We're so pathetic as black people, believing in the racial superiority of others.
Right.
That somehow white folks don't use deodorant and toilet paper. Have you ever been to France and you could smell the French people once you got to the airport? Yes, you can. You can smell them. When I was in Charles de Gaulle, I knew I could smell I was in France. And I could smell I was in Italy. You know what? In Libya, I didn't smell nobody.
That's right.
Okay, so, let's be honest. In a culture where the weather's cold, who would want to take a bath if you didn't have hot water, you didn't have heat, I mean, basically, your radiator was the pig you slept next to, right? Why would
Right.
you bathe? In fact, dirt keeps you warm. It covers you. It's a protection from the cold.
Right.
In case you hadn't thought about that, real
Right.
talk. So
That's right.
a lot of these people, you think, oh well, it's a good hospital. It's a white hospital.
Oh,
My father nearly died. My dad went septic. He got an infection. One of
yeah.
these people probably had poop under their fingernails, and
Right.
then it nearly took my dad out.
The other interesting part to that is that when you follow the people who've been dying in the nursing homes and the hospital, 95% of those nursing homes and hospitals are nursing homes and hospitals that's owned by private equity companies or hedge fund owners, right?
Mhm.
Talk about that because that's another part the media is not talking about.
Well, let's be honest. Not only are they owned by these private folks, but a lot of times they didn't tell people that the people deceased, and they were trying to max out on these
Right.
people's benefits and
That's
payments.
right. That's
Uh,
right.
Between you and I, brother, I genuinely believe that there's a desire to deny Social Security benefits to this generation. If they kill off, the more they kill in a place like New York, Chicago, that's a
Right.
massive savings. Let's sit down and think about. You've got hundreds of thousands of people who are above the age of 80.
Right.
A lot of them are just sit around. If you've ever volunteered, I've gone and visited senior centers, and it felt like you were in a beef kidney factory because the folks reeked of their own pee. They had sores. They keep them on meds. They're basically concentration camps for people who don't work anymore.
Right. Right.
Now, think about what they could save if they estimate, hey, look, this person, they're in reasonably good health. They're going to live to be about 105 years. When you only wanted to give them benefits up until they're 80. Do you
Yeah.
realize that's another 25 years you're going to have to put all this care and money on them?
That's right.
If you
Right.
could kill them, that's a savings.
That's
There
right.
was a big push right there in your state of Maryland in
Yeah.
2019 for euthanasia, and it was
That's right.
introduced in DC too, and it almost passed.
Yeah. One of the doctors was a guy named I think Morehan that introduced it. And he was a doctor. Dan
No,
Morehan, I think.
they want to kill and they want to kill old black people, and this is a wonderful way to get rid of people. So the the hedge funds,
Right.
the more profitable that they are, like
Right.
the more beds that they have to put people
Mm-hmm.
in, the more money they make. So the more that
Right.
people die, and remember,
Right.
not only do they get the money from what they got, but if you put a person on a respirator or a ventilator,
Yeah.
you get X. These people
That's
are being literally paid
they
to kill
yeah. Yeah.
people.
If they
They
dose you with corona, you got 13. If they put you on the ventilator, you
30
got 40,000.
$40,000, right? So you got
Right. Right.
$53,000, and that depends because it could go up because the state
Right.
put money and other people in. So the baseline is that you could get $53,000 for every person that died in your
That's right.
facility. Not to mention that the service wasn't free, which means
Right.
whatever you socked it to people for,
That's right.
which means if they want to hit each person with $100,000 medical bill,
Right. That's
and
right.
they got paid multiple times for killing people, which is
Right.
why when I last went to a hospital in the beginning of February and asked for a COVID test, I didn't think I had it. And they told me there was no guarantee that a doctor would see me or even give me a test. But yet you're going to have me go in a hospital full of sick people. So you know what I
Mm-hmm.
told the broad, man, take me
Right.
to the liquor store. I'm gonna get some Jack Daniels and some what's the stuff called, a Bacardi.
The
And yes, I
Bacardi.
did. I killed the Bacardi. No, I didn't kill the. I killed the Jack Daniels. I got the Tennessee Honey, and I got the regular Jack Daniels. Nope,
Right.
I didn't drink it to get high. I don't want to get high. I would have some before going to sleep. I would
Right.
just kill it, go to sleep, and wake up and sweat the stuff out.
Yes, sir.
And it works better. It works
Having a
better.
conversation. On that thought, having a conversation with Brother Dr. Randy Short. The other part to that is that the majority of people who have been diagnosed with corona or COVID, 99% of them have recovered. talk about that because over the past year, all we've been seeing from the mainstream news media with this social engineering, social interfering, that make you think that everybody that got it.
Yeah, well,
died.
Eric Garner, Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, and Tamir Rice died of COVID. Okay,
Right.
Martin Luther King died of it. Malcolm X died from COVID. Everybody, this is ridiculous. First and
Right.
foremost, when you tell me in a nation of 335 million people that in a year 500,000 people died out of a population that size, since most people, forgive me, are dumb as hell. 33, I'm sorry, 335 million people.
Right.
Do you realize 1% of that would be what? 3,350,000 people.
Right.
That would be 1%. That the 500,000 goes into that number about 6 times,
Right.
meaning that it's point. What is it? It's about 15%. No, not 15. It's 1/6
Right.
of
Exactly.
the death rate of people who
Right.
would die
That's right.
normally. Okay,
Right.
and we know that those numbers have been exaggerated,
That's
meaning
right. Absolutely.
that
Right.
they understand that the public has been made so stupid.
That's right. They don't question
And by the way,
anything.
they've made calling people stupid bullying. Don't
Right.
call the person stupid. If they
Right.
think Idaho's the capital of the United States, encourage them, build up their self-esteem. Right? If he thinks he's a woman, tell him he's a woman. Go and get him a feather boa.
Yeah,
By
we're gonna talk
making the
about
public
social
dumb,
emotion. Oh, right. Yes,
by
sir.
making people stupid and dumb and intellectually lazy, it is a way to enslave you. You know, brother, I got an email today from someone who was telling me that they had no respect for Martin Luther King at all, but they liked Malcolm X and Gandhi. By the way, Gandhi was spelt with GHA, right? And if you're listening, damn it, if you want to debate me about Gandhi, know how to spell the thing. I mean, sit up and get upset when I come back and say Gandhi's a racist. Gandhi hated black people. Gandhi raped children. Gandhi's a misogynist. Gandhi had no respect for women. Gandhi supported the caste system. Gandhi was bisexual. Gandhi admired Hitler. I mean, you admire him. You haven't read. You've been told he was great. And you've been told, well, since Martin Luther King got some extra punani, and I always tell the story when I met one of Martin Luther King's girlfriends, I gave them a big hug and a kiss. And she was suspicious as to, why did you hug me? And I said to Miss Cotton, I just wanted to. And if I had $100 bill, I would have tucked it in her brassiere. Thank you for taking care of Dr. King.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We just tuned in to have the conversation with Brother Dr. Randy Short. So before we move off of this, that's the big thing for this whole pandemic, scamdemic, and transdemic. Because we're going to get into the trans, because there's a lot of trans with this transdemic. But how that ties into the grand reset, which was the reset, as we talked about, not just the currency with this digital currency they want to bring online, but the reset, the standard of living of the people of the earth in terms of the 179 nations. And most of those nations have gone along with it, probably with the exception of Taiwan, who's not a part of the World Health Organization. Most of those countries put some type of lockdown in place, some type of shutdown in place, some type of restrictions in place. I want to get your thoughts and comments.
Well, they're trying to move us towards a one world government. And this has been, with one world government, you won't have any kind of control over anything. The Europeans are already experiencing it. When it's people they didn't elect who make the decisions for the European Economic Community. And so their politicians that they vote for don't really have anything to do with how their lives are managed. It's some bureaucrat you've never seen before, you don't know, who's a part of this international organization. These people want one world government. And I think they've used this medical crisis to do this and to have one currency if they can. If they can force this on everybody, and by the way, part of getting people to the one world currency would be to reduce the living standard. So when you live in
Right.
America, it's the same as living in an African country.
Mm-hmm.
If you can lower the expectations, get people
Right.
like in Jackson, Mississippi, with its traitorous, no good,
Mar-
self-hating coon black leadership. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't say that about him, but if you call the name, I'm talking about this problem. Mississippi has been there before Chokwe
Right.
Lumumba's son got there. My only
Yes.
beef with him is that you're running up to Chicago with Black Lives Matter and the LGBTQ folks.
Yeah,
Seems
we're gonna
like, you
talk about
know, and I'll tell anybody that even if you are given a blowjob, you still need to brush your teeth. You really should
that.
brush your teeth if you do blowjob.
Right. Right. Right.
If you're getting hit in the booty and you got poop on your chest because you went in someone's behind, and it happens, it does. You need clean water. Even if you gay, you need to shower. You need to wash. You need to do stuff. And in fact, you really need to do, if you had everybody put secret
Otherwise,
sauce in your rear end or whatever it is, or if you're a lesbian and you know you got more fiber in your teeth than a three-piece suit, you need water to cleanse, if nothing else. The reason I'm
that's right.
saying this, I did a show with some gay person. I'm trying to talk about Flint and water. What about gay rights? And I told him, dude, you mean to tell me you don't need to shower after you went to one of those orgies in someone's dungeon? And he got quiet. Go,
Right. Right.
don't let,
Well,
stop
talk
letting
about
these
that.
people confuse the issue.
Right. But we're gonna talk about that because that's the other part of what we've been seeing. What's happened over the past year
Mm.
was again not the rights of straight black men and women, not the rights of straight black, brown, red, yellow, and white women, but being promoted. But what we've seen again is, as you've been talking about, this whole issue of transgender rights, right? Of the
Mhm.
LGBT
And there's one other thing that they're using.
of equality is what we're seeing.
And weaponized black lesbians.
Right.
And I weaponized black lesbians, and I'm just gonna say it. Black American straight men are the biggest chumps of any men I've ever seen.
Why you say that?
Because you can get a black lesbian like the mayor of DC who's destroying black DC. And she's a woman, and they think they may get some extra sex off of her. She's kind of cute. It doesn't matter if she brings in these crackers to run the police department. It doesn't matter what bad happens to black people. I could turn her around. Or the little thing, the Beetlejuice, the Afrocentric Beetlejuice thing in Chicago. And you've got and the mayor that they got put in jail. She bit some titties too. She's bit some titties too. Okay, sure she has. That. So we have these titty biter sisters, Stacey Abrams or Stacey Adam or Stacey Steakums, whatever. These monstrosity lesbians, and I think Kamala looks kind of hard. She looks like Joe Morton in the face with the weave on. She's hard. She's harsh too. And just because, and the simp, stupid black men think, well, she's laid up with all these brothers. She laid up with you because she doesn't care anything about black men. There are a whole lot of lesbians that love penises. They hate men. And so man-hating black women who've been in the Democratic Party, and Eleanor Holmes Norton, who looks like Michael Warren from Hill Street Blues, she does. You got all these horrid, mannish women and they get a pass on being female. To me, be feminine, be like Mary Wilson, be an appealing black woman that's feminine, that's pro black male. Maybe I'll give you a pass. But if you're a mannish,
this whole feminism was with Gloria Steinem, National Organization of Women, started by the Rockefellers and the CIA. Is that correct?
Yes. And by the way, I got to say this to you, and I know there's some people in the NOI who will like this. Did you hear about Atala Shabazz is running buddies with Gloria Steinem?
I've seen pictures with her. So I'm like, how could Malcolm X's daughter be with Gloria Steinem and be with that whole women's movement that was out there in 2017. I mean, that's some either some they just say politics or politics make strange bedfellows. So
Well, you mean bed sisters, but
yeah.
maybe someone's trying to munch carpet by any means necessary. I'm not.
But to see it with Gloria Steinem, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, brother. See the daughter of Malcolm X and embracing that, knowing that Dr. Betty Shabazz didn't stand for that at all. We're going to talk about that eventually when we talk about 56 years ago and what we saw in Harlem a few weeks ago with three of the daughters of Malcolm X, with Benjamin Crump and, of course,
Benjamin Crap.
Not talking about the case of not just Malcolm X, Betty Shabazz, who was killed, Malcolm Shabazz. We're going to talk about that. But please continue your point, and we're going to get to that shortly, my brother.
Look, I'm not trying to come down on the families. This is, see, we're stuck. We're stuck. Because if you come down and you like come in and beat the behinds of Bernice King, who needs her behind beat, and Martin the Third, who looks like a mulatto Crump. The Clump, the next time we make a movie, he could just be himself. Okay. And then the other one that's disappeared. You mean slumming to America. And the Shabazz folks, look, they're casualties of the struggle, but at some point they're gonna have to be accountable. I mean, I know how would I have turned out had you shot my father down in front of me and I'm surrounded by spies and all that.
What Chairman Fred is doing, let that be a sign for the rest of them.
And Chairman Fred's had to struggle like anybody else, but Chairman Fred's, at least he's trying to do it. And so just it's very simple. We've got to deal with this, and my brother, there is someone that used to be in the nation, I think. It's just a matter of time before, like, rumblings, like the rumblings that maybe Coretta Scott King had a white boyfriend that nobody talked about.
Yeah.
Rumblings that Mother Shabazz may have been other than what's been portrayed. We need to start looking to the Most High instead of looking at people. There's some stories even in that household about how things were, or that Malcolm got thrown out 3 times by Betty. And I mean, you've probably heard these. And see, see, there's, and I'm not happy about that, because I want that to be a strong, healthy Black family, but maybe it wasn't. But the productivity of Brother Malcolm and Dr. King.
My concern again, as I always say, to deal with the acts and the facts of again the legacy of Brother Malcolm, the assassination of Brother Malcolm, how we see his daughter standing with the Steinem and that whole Black feminist, Black Lives Matters. Again, Benjamin Crump, knowing that Crump is only coming to do a shakedown. He's the new modern day Al Sharpton.
No, he's the new modern day Jesse Jackass.
Jesse. And if they really wanted to get justice, then they would have done what the King family at least did in 1999 with attorney William Pepper. And that would be the move, not the move of what we see them doing with, again, Benjamin Crump. And as I said before, and that's on the back of... But
see, the difference is that the King family, as you said, they didn't get paid. But didn't the minister give out a big chunk of cash way back in the day when this came up? And, if you're playing your father's assassination like a Holocaust card, like another group of people do, it can get old in a broke community fast.
Right.
So, I mean, there are any number of things that people could do to get access to money, to other than doing it this way. But you see, here's my issue. You're going to try to put, like this film, the film on Malcolm X, who killed Malcolm,
Yeah, I was just saying, yeah, I forget his name.
I didn't know he was doing this.
Right.
I've been seeing him for 20 some odd years around Howard. I ran into him a couple of years ago. He knows me, I guess. Look, I knew who shot Malcolm in 2009.
Right.
It took you to 2018.
Right.
I'm not it's a great documentary. I love the passion, but he could have gotten an answer, but why are you going talking to
Right.
people of that generation when there are other ways that stuff's been out for a while? Telling Cory Booker, Cory Booker, do you think Cory Booker likes Malcolm X?
Come on, brother.
I mean,
But that's hard. As we said, we warned again that they would use when they came out with the Manny Marvel book. That was going to be eventually to hijack the legacy of Malcolm to say.
and you didn't see all of those too moist, too wrong. Throughout that film, I mean, it looked like a Fire Island dating chat room. The talking heads on a lot of that. I'm just saying, and the Jelani Cobb was lisping and Malcolm. It's like, okay, all right.
So just again, is on that point, we had this was a retired police officer on his deathbed come out and say he was working for the FBI.
Well, I mean, but we already knew all these people were doing this. This is what look. Crump. I think Crump is an agent. Do you really think a crusading black lawyer?
No, he's bootleg, like
but that's an agent. That's an agent too.
Percy's son, right? And as Baba Dick shared with me, that it was Percy Sutton who, of course, along with Alex Haley, that was feeding information. Haley was bootleg, so they were feeding the information to military, to the CIA, to the FBI about Red Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And
sure.
But as it relates to Betty Shabazz, when Betty Shabazz, 32 years later, was killed as well, and they blamed young Malcolm Shabazz.
Right.
And what I didn't hear at that press conference, again, as I said, talk about the case of Betty Shabazz, opening that up, and then the case of Malcolm Shabazz. Let me get your thoughts on that.
Well, man, we're coming to a point where the truth's going to come out and it's going to be ugly. What I can say to you is when Sister Roz Ratliff and I were trying to find out what happened, we got virtually no support from the Shabazz family.
Okay. And that was what happened with Malcolm Shabazz, who was killed in Mexico.
And from his mother, I got threats, and other people threatened me over it. And so there's harassment that came, and the most significant thing, one of the, I won't say which one, was bugging me about whether I'm going to write a book. I guess they're worried about someone getting some money out of it. First and foremost, as broke as I am, I should get some money. One. But if I were in some horny rush to get money, I could have called the New York Times and all these people when they were calling me about Malcolm and said, hey, look, I can tell you some really bad things about Malcolm, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they would have given me a book deal.
Right.
Absolutely cussed out a lot of journalist people or told them off. That they were not going to use me to assassinate Malcolm X's grandfather. I'm sorry, his father, and Malcolm Shabazz's grandfather and great grandfather, and kill the grandmother through me.
Right.
I don't need to see my name in print that badly.
Yes.
You can't pay me to do that to the Shabazz family. So you'll take the story that I told you about this young guy, and everybody I know, I've already told them to repeat the same thing. You're going to hear he was a sweet, nice, loving person who was changing his life, and he's making some changes. That's the story you heard. I told everybody, let's swear to it. We're not going to say one thing. If we saw it, we don't know anything but good. You
Right.
can't, you will not kill his grandfather through me.
Yeah. That's right.
So
Yes.
this is so maybe a year or two or three, I may write something, but I didn't want them. Now that this is coming up, maybe I could write something, but I'm not
Right.
going to be a party to hurting Malcolm
Right.
X, Betty Shabazz, and definitely I love that guy. I genuinely did, and I'm not going to do anything to hurt him. But the family didn't help.
That's
The
right.
family didn't file murder charges. I beg people, please do it. I'm not family. I do it for him.
Right.
If you get where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So, no. If I tell you I like Malcolm X, if I told you my father hated nicknames, but I had a nickname, my nickname from my dad was Malcolm. He
Yes,
used it
sir.
maybe 4 or 5 times in my lifetime. That's the only thing he called me outside of my name was that, other
Yes,
than
sir.
when he was going to go upside my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell anyone the first name I can recall hearing as a baby is Malcolm. My dad crying 56 years ago, February 21st, when Malcolm X died. I couldn't see it, but I could hear my dad crying. The only time in
Yeah.
my life my dad cried was over Malcolm X that I'm aware of.
Yes, sir. Again, family, just tuned in and have a conversation with my brother and friend, Brother Dr. Randy Short, as we're talking about that, of course, over the past. And get your thoughts. The movie, before we move on, the movie, of course, Chairman Fred, which was released, and Minister Mark Clark.
This
Again, Jesus and the Black Messiah. Now, there's a certain fella that's coming to Baltimore this week. I told the brothers I try not to talk about it, but we could call that Judas and the Black Messiah. He's promoting a book about brother Khalid Abdul Muhammad right now. But we could call that one Judas and the Black Messiah. But I'm gonna hold on that one right now.
well,
But I want to get you on the movie Judas and the Black Messiah.
and I want to add, since you mentioned Judas and the Black Messiah, you saw Mike Brown with an unsaid Islamic personality that trying to get the money.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't call names.
We did. Who's supposedly said Mike Brown's father said he's suing Black Lives Matters.
Yes, and which I'm glad he's suing. I'm glad he's suing Black Lives Matter. I hope everyone does, so they can get their hands on some of that dough collected in our people's collective name. But I'm talking about a black lawyer who's in a. Okay, I didn't say who, and that's
fool you. We already know who it is.
Okay. Anyway, they've been missing a long time. The only thing is, brother, I said to you, I've been seeing them a long time. I never knew them to be that dark in complexion. They must have been in the Caribbean or Africa or something. But then again, can you travel? So anyway, now back to this Judas and the Black Messiah. Look, it was well made. But I'm afraid anybody that doesn't know the real history will see that the Black Panthers as a Black Lives Matter with guns.
Yeah. That's my concern when I first saw the trailer. Heard them talking about the whole Rainbow Coalition. That they was going to try to throw that over and say Chairman Fred was for. You know what I mean?
Let's go back to 2019 when I was in Baltimore.
Right.
You know that they wanted to put more gay stuff in that film.
Right.
And
they wanted to do in the Marvel version.
Sure.
Of Black.
Okay, and because one, the Amazons were lesbians, so black folks need to stop pretending that you didn't have carpet munching and other stuff in Africa. It's a lie. It was there. Sin and immorality goes everywhere. Okay, but back to this point here.
The pale man been there, absolutely.
No, but sometimes the pale man does. Sodom and Gomorrah wasn't pale. Sodom and Gomorrah is in Syro-African Valley. Those were black folks that were vile. Okay. And so to me, no, we can't. There weren't white people back then. Before white people existed, you had black people that were degenerates. That's the Holy Scripture. So, and some people may do it more. I would agree with you on that, but don't tell me that only they do it. That's some cultural nationalist mumbo jumbo. Back to this thing. My fear is that they're going to get young black people to see the gun as the answer to everything. The gun is only one of many options.
Right.
The story that they didn't get is that the little gang group that had all those weapons, you mean y'all left it to, and y'all so fierce, you left it to the sister to shoot it out with the cops? Y'all had all those guns. Why didn't y'all do it? Why? Because for all this gun toting, it's a bunch of big dick, black male bravado. We're not free, we're weak, we're disunited, and we may not be able to shoot our way out of it. We may have to think our way, research our way, be organized, mobilized, and intelligent versus thinking that you can just do a frontal assault. All those folks were getting bumped off throughout the film, trying to go up against a greater force with more guns and everything else than what they had. What could some of the options have been?
Right.
The main thing that they let you know when they set the office on fire is that they don't want people to build and to construct and to do. And so you got all these people wrapped up in the guns. You know, I remember, he's still alive. Bob Moses used to do history lessons at my apartment in Boston. And he mentioned one of the things that attracted everyone to the Panthers was taking up the gun. Not necessarily the reading, not necessarily all this stuff. And so all these people want to take up guns and do other stuff. And it's premature because there should be training, indoctrination, all that before you pick up a gun. Now, we know that Fred Hampton did not start the Black Panther Party. We know that Robert Brown or Bob Brown started it and recruited all those people. And by the way, Fred Hampton, along with the man who helped kill Fred Hampton, voted Bob Brown out of the Chicago Black Panther Party because he didn't want Mr. O'Neill to be head of security. So there were other people, including Bobby Rush, who potentially are alleged to be agents. That whole thing was infiltrated. Most people fail to understand that the Black Panther Party in California was infiltrated when they had 4 members. Black folks don't think that these folks work that hard.
By the FBI, the Baltimore chapter.
Yeah.
The FBI, the Baltimore chapter.
Yeah, sure. So people have no idea how many billions of dollars is devoted to keeping us down, to the food, to the water, to the air, to keep us down. You can't shoot your way out of GMO food. You can't shoot your way out of fluoridated water. You can't shoot your way out of lead poison air. You have to think of creative and intelligent ways to gain your sovereignty. Yes, you're going to need those weapons. But those aren't the only weapons. In fact, one of the things that lacked in the Panthers, they had no religion. Whether you like it or not,
but the 10-point program
was borrowed from the Nation of Islam. Message to the black man. Right. It's, look, the Black Panther 10-point program was copied on the floor of the apartment of my favorite professor at Howard, Dr. Don G. Davis, who was teaching at Merritt College. Look, there's a disconnect. When they did this, they didn't look at, there was a disconnect between the Panthers going all the way out with these leftist people who are pro-LGBTQ, pro-abortion, pro all the stuff that our community doesn't need. We don't need to be united. But you know what? When they come to kill us, we're by ourselves. So why don't we just be by ourselves and do what we can do for ourselves.
Right.
And I'm not saying I don't work with, I won't help somebody else. I think, if I have a little bit, I may send something to somebody in Africa. I may send something to a friend or two in India, do what I can. I work with a brother who's a farmer in Mozambique. I want to work with, but we've got to be in defense of our own community. Let's be honest. What that film did not show, since we're going here, is a brother by the name of Gloves. The black man, it wasn't a white man that fired the machine gun. It was a black man that delighted in beating pregnant black women and kicking black folks around, whose name was Gloves. He died at a rich old age. A black Chicago policeman used the machine gun, though not the white men.
Right.
That's why I talk about Coons.
Right.
Had the machine gun not been used, he might have survived.
Right.
So it's a black man that did the machine gun. His name is Gloves. It's black traitors. That's why I don't want to hear about some policemen on the New York force. There were infiltrators in the Nation of Islam.
That's right.
There are plenty of them. They're there now. And so they're infiltrators. A lot of these churches, these black preachers are spies. They're paid to watch the ex-convicts and other things.
Microphone. I think I can hear you better on the mic. Go ahead.
Which microphone? This one?
Yeah, it just seemed like it dropped off. But please continue.
Okay, no. In reality, brother, we have infiltrators, which is why I talk about Coons so much.
Right.
If we could get rid of our stoolies, our traitors, punish them, or at least frighten the hell out of them, or scare them, or make them get religion or something, we wouldn't be in the same mess that we are.
That's right.
50%, 51% of our problem is Coons. It all gets easy after that. It's Coons that will sell dope in your neighborhood. It's Coons that will make kiddie porn. It's Coons that hide in an abandoned building, attack your kid, going to school in Baltimore. If we deal with traitors, I don't like why he was saying it, but I love how he said it when Farrakhan said, "Was he your traitor or was he ours? We dealt with the traitor like a nation deals with the traitor. What business is it of yours?" That's sort of how I feel about Coons. Coons should be punished. Let me tell you something. You remember Black Power? How old are you?
I'll be 55 in a few days.
Oh my God. You remember Black Power, and I remember that I'm 56. There was a point where Coons were wearing kente, were wearing dashikis. People, even folks that hated being black, had African names. I mean, because you might get your behind beat for not being on point. I had an old coon tell me at the University of Virginia. He told me, "I hated people like you. You guys made us do it." This dude was still angry decades later for having to feel good about being black. And this guy was setting me up to get thrown out of school, all this stuff. And he even told me, all the people like you are supposed to be dead and in jail. You have, this brother told me this on the campus. You're not supposed to exist.
Black power, Africans, they think that's it. There ain't no more coming.
Well, no, but they've done a good job at derailing everything when they see it. This guy reported me. All these folks were watching. I was like, all of this for me? So, but that film did show that there was snitches, but there was more than that one guy.
That's right. There was more than just William O'Neill who had infiltrated the Black Panther.
That's correct.
In Chicago. Yes. Right. There's always one went and one was sent. So what the scripture said, "When there's 2 or 3 and you got it, there I am as well." So
right. So there were multiple.
That's the FBI. They know the teachers better than some of the ministers, and knew the
So
for sure.
the Black Panthers made a big mistake in thinking that you can get a mass following among black people
Right.
and not deal with the soul of black people.
The spiritual part.
Yeah,
Right.
this it's that they're doing that whole
Very part.
leftist thing.
That is the spiritual part. That's again what we saw with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad changing, as Dick Gregory would always talk about, Dr. Patricia Newton, Dr. Wellesley, laying down new tracks in the thoughts and the minds of the
Right.
people.
Or as
That's
the
what
scriptures say, be ye not conformed, but transformed in the renewing of your mind.
yes,
If
sir.
you don't renew the minds of people, then you can bring drugs and all this stuff. And you know, um, you know that there were Panthers and they were still pimping and doing some of this stuff in it.
Right.
This hurts us. If we're
Right.
going to be a
That's
different,
destroying your organization from within with those things, you know?
we
Right.
you've got to like not do that, and you've got to sacrifice some. I
Right.
mean, it seems as if folks want to screw more when they're in leadership. No, you may
Mm.
have to do less.
That's right. One.
Sacrifice, and by the way, uh, Fred Hampton. I'm not saying that these weren't great young men; they were, but there's our young people have to be taught that there are other ways of doing stuff. Imagine if,
Right.
and it's true, the police are terrible. That I told you they may have thrown my
Yeah.
cousin off the roof.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got to figure out ways in which we can resist if a confrontation comes and it's unavoidable.
Right.
But do as much as we can to be stealth. Okay,
Mm.
I should not be in any of these organizations because too many people know who the hell I am,
Yes, sir.
and I don't want to. But there should be people who don't need to be seen. There is a narcissism, and
Mm.
also black people. Frankly, we're cultists. Most black folks worship white people. Sure, they do. I believe many black people go to bed every night and pray that they wake up white the next day. I don't. I wish
Yeah.
everybody that was black that hated themselves, I
Mm.
pray that God make them white so they can go the hell away. If there were just 1 million of us or a half million
That's
that was
committed. I love it.
serious, we'd be a dynamic people. We'd be
Yes.
unstoppable.
Right.
We don't need everyone. In fact, I don't want everyone. I would
Mm.
I want all the people that want to be white I
Mm.
hope they get it. I mean, I don't
Right.
know if they need to use some battery acid, skin lotion, or whatever, something to get rid of the melanin so you can enjoy that life. But just as sure as I'm going to beg you to have my cousin on your show, you've heard of
Yeah.
Matthew Fogg. I know you've heard of him.
No, you mentioned that.
Yeah,
Now,
but
there we
I'm
go.
going to give you his number. He has a thing, Bigots with Badges. My cousin, part of my family, in fact, I'm kind of glad I got some of my dad's melanin, a lot of it. Part of my cousins moved up to New England to be white, and they found
Mm.
it wasn't all that. I think somebody kept hearing the word nigger at work and flicked off on somebody. I'm a damn nigger, and the family had to move back, and they just says we'll be black.
Going
Hell,
up to
it's
the
easier.
going up to the Hamptons, following the Obama. We're
Yeah,
coming to that.
no, yeah.
We coming to that now. We coming to that next. We coming to that now. So
Oh, you talking about that thing with
yeah,
Big
we're gonna get to
Mike?
that. Before we do, yeah, let's get into that. Then we're gonna talk about the Equality Act because I want to kind of do a part one on that. We'll do a part two on the Equality Act because again, as you warned, Brother Irritated Genie warned, it was back and they fast tracking it now with Biden. It's moved through the Congress and now it's going to be moving to the Senate. And the Kamala, if it's a tie, of course, she would be the one.
Kamala.
Right, would be the one that would, of course, break the tide. So you know she will definitely, what's the word? She'll bask in that. No pun intended for sure. But let me get your thoughts on what we saw with, again, the son of Dwayne Wade, who clearly has been sacrificed like a son of Magic Johnson.
And sodomized.
Right?
Somebody's dipped. There's a song, I've been dipped in the water. Someone's
Right.
dipped in that boy's booty.
Yeah.
I hope
So,
it's
so
not his father. I hope
but
it's not
now
Dwayne
they're
Wade.
canceling culture in terms of books that many of us grew up reading, cartoon characters we grew up watching on TV. We see Michelle Obama, who, of course, many or a few of us have talked about. Again, this whole phenomena with the Obamas being, of course, made for, as Chairman Fred say, the coldest drug dropped on the black community since crack cocaine has been Barack Obama and this whole phenomenon.
Well, I always put crack and AIDS together for Obama.
Right. So let me get your thoughts on what we've been seeing, of course, with Michelle Obama, I guess, reading Dr. Seuss or reading other books to now Dwayne Wade's son. I can't think of his name.
Zaya is a feminine name. What was his name? Zion before? Or?
Not to be Zion. And just look at the names now, what the word Zion means. He no longer wants to be Zion, right? But he now wants to be Zaya. And we see this being promoted in terms of this Michelle Obama saying it's okay to,
Zaya sounds like a Jungle Bush bitch. Okay, but anyway.
Let me get your thoughts on that, brother.
Look, let's go with Dr. Seuss. You know that Dr. Seuss was in military intelligence or some kind of thing. And
like just most of them that they had,
yeah.
I was watching cartoons coming up. There was always a sign, symbol, numerology, and gematria.
Stuff that was there. I never liked Dr. Seuss. I never got what was so special. Let me tell you, I just speak personally. I came up hating fiction. So I hated Dr. Seuss from the time I was about 4 or 5. I didn't like green. I mean, first of all, why do I want to see the green eggs and ham or anything? That wasn't real to me.
I ain't never seen no green eggs and ham, but I understand in terms of use of language that you.
Sure. And I am Sam, I am, and all that. But the same people that liked Dr. Seuss are the same people that called me nigger. They enjoyed it too much. So if they liked it, I had no use for it. I was reading about Crazy Horse and Nat Turner when I was in elementary school. To hell with Dr. Seuss. I'm just telling you, real talk. If they liked it, I didn't. So I never got into it. I didn't have Dr. Seuss books. I didn't like fiction. I always liked nonfiction books. I've never been a fiction person. Never. Okay, so that's him. Now, Michelle Obama, she's gotten a pass for too long. Michelle Obama is a morally bankrupt, depleted woman. She probably has an extra X chromosome. There's something wrong there. And again, I'm going to blast black women. We black men have had to put up with her bullshit and her lies and her phoniness and her propping up her trisexual liar, backstabbing husband because he had a dark-skinned wife because a lot of black women think they're ugly because they're dark. Maybe someone told you you're ugly. It doesn't mean you have to believe it. You know what I'm saying? You could be married with a woman, ask her to fix dinner. She says no. Well, why is it that when someone says you're black and you're ugly, you say yes to yourself? That's some weakness in yourselves, ladies. Michelle Obama, because she's dark-skinned and from the South Side, she's been the Trojan horse to sell us this mulatto bathhouse play toy, penis ring of white power. And now I'm so glad she's done this stupid. She's an emasculating, castrating woman who couldn't really have children herself naturally. Her own book says that. And I wonder what she's becoming. Okay, some people said she's become a woman, and I'm not. But I will say that when it looks like you've got a pound of kiblasa bouncing in your pants when you run down the stairs, that's what the picture shows. I don't know if it's been manipulated, whatever. But I will say, for Michelle Obama, even if she's not a dude, for all of you that think that she is, have you ever seen a straight woman praise as many black men for being gay as Michelle Obama? Basketball players, everybody, RuPaul. I mean, it's as if she basking. And I'll tell you something. I had this conversation with one of my favorite people, Miss Kelly. I says, Miss Kelly, I found a lot of black women like broken black men. They like eunuch black men because it allows them to basically be a man and be a woman. A lot of black women are into duality, being social hermaphrodites, acting like a dude but being a woman. It is despicable that a lot of our women like this. And when Tyler Perry puts on the dress, you make him a billionaire. But Wesley Snipes, who puts on pants, he's got to go to another country to make money. You hate him for having a Japanese woman, but you celebrate the woman who have white men. You get what I'm saying? Or when it's a black woman, everybody's crying over Meghan Markle. You know, I said that shit wasn't gonna last. That wasn't gonna last long. I mean, they told her high yellow behind what time it was. You still a nigga to us, okay? You
Queen Charlotte. You're like, why are we even having in 2021 having a conversation when you know the history of Queen Charlotte and how they sent her here, right?
Yeah, but I mean, look. So we don't care if you have more royal blood. You're still a nigger, and so I mean, she's finding this out, and Harry knows that they killed his mother because she got her some down in the Delta, the Egyptian Delta, DICK. And they said, we got to kill her. Because then all the other royals will go, you know.
He died in a plane accident like 24 hours after they did that interview, or they released that interview. He didn't beat that. But please continue on Michelle Obama.
So Michelle Obama is basically, she's the macho mannish Pied Piper of pansexuality. And it's time to just go in on her. First and foremost, I always thought that she looked like, who's that guy with the Georgetown Hoyas? Patrick Ewing. She does look like Patrick Ewing with the shave. She looks like Patrick Ewing became a woman. I felt this way. I was saying this in 2009.
She looked like she could be the twin of her brother, who was a coach at Oklahoma in basketball.
Yeah. Well, no, she's mannish all the way. I mean, I'd like to test her pee and see what the estrogen count is. It's probably really low. It's like look, she's never done a damn thing for black women. She hasn't done a damn thing for black children. By the way, I think that she goes with Valerie Jarrett. I think that they basically are a throuple: Valerie Jarrett, Obama, and Michelle, and basically he's subsidizing them to, grind on each other. I can't prove it. This is an assumption. I just think something's wrong. If you look at how wild his daughter is, when you see this kind of the one that has like the long cucumber face, and the other one's a little freaky too. I mean, I get them confused. I know that they're not theirs. Okay, the tall one that wasn't biologically up from Obama. Okay,
she the one who worked for Weinstein. The other one was the tapes with
let's do it in brother speak. The one with the juiciest booty is the youngest one, and the one with the white boy booty, the older one. Okay, so white booty.
The legs was in the pictures with Hunter Biden.
That it looks like that. I'm not saying it is, but it sure looked like that. And so you can make anything look like you want to. But I'm going to say Michelle Obama is a psyop against black women, and they know. I'm going to say this: black women, the same way the first woman who was black got deceived by the snake, y'all getting deceived by the United Snakes. And y'all have been chumps. We've had to put up with this celebratory bullshit about the divine feminine. If it's divine, why is this tramp celebrating this boy who wants to get his penis cut off? He's not even 12 years old.
That's right.
If he is 12, who wants to get your penis cut off? I know there are lesbians who have big clitorises that don't want to get cut off. I mean, this doesn't make any sense.
You can't drive till they're 18, can't cook till they're 18, can't buy alcohol till they're 21, cigarettes till they're 20, alcohol, tobacco products. But you telling me a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, 14-year-old now can go in, sign the paperwork without their parents' consent, to say that they no longer want to be
You remember the story I told you, my god brother who quit the nation that started the Final Call? Knew a drag queen in D.C. who used to do phone sex with Biden in front of him. Biden likes this stuff. Biden is nasty. Biden is a degenerate. Biden is a racist. Biden likes seeing castrated, emasculated black men almost as much as Michelle Obama.
Yeah, you heard what he said. You saw what he said yesterday about, look, if you in jail, whatever sex you want to be, you could be a man.
But remember, he was the one that forced Obama's hand to just go total fag out in the White House. It was Biden that did this. Sure, he did. Joe Biden is a degenerate. Joe Biden used to rape his daughter. His daughter says so. I believe Hunter Biden has been molested, and possibly by Joe. I believe that and I believe that this wife he has, it procures children for him because he's a teacher. I'm not saying it. So this is how I feel. Now, this is me giving an opinion, audience. I'm not calling my opinion fact. This is a strong feeling when you, as deviant as this man is. I even think he's done something to the dogs they had to take away. The dog probably was jealous it wasn't getting the kind of attention it wanted. Because every time he's in trouble, that dog does something. Remember Ronald Reagan, who could have been a little deviant himself, had the dog that kept pissing and humping on everybody. Remember him? Lucky? Remember? Okay. And so, and these people will mess with animals. And people forget that Biden and Obama made it legal in the U.S. military for you to be able to have sex with animals and not get kicked out. So the whole Foundations Equality Act, they started this with the military exactly 10 years ago. Just anything you want to do, Obama did it. And Michelle Obama calling basketball players. How did you like that dude, Jason, who caught more balls off court than on court? Remember the one that was licking his lips during the State of the Union looking at Obama? How does a real married woman cope with dudes that want to screw your husband and you calling them up? I mean, what y'all gonna do? Make a sandwich? Y'all gonna play Subway?
Like Reggie Love.
Look, no, she didn't like Reggie. Remember, they went to Hawaii together and left Michelle and them. Okay, and see. Look, people, all you need to do is ask yourself, Obama, the most powerful man in the world for 8 years, the minute he leaves the White House, he flies to California to vacation with a gay couple. That's how you cap. Now, I know, 2 times, I know. And then went down and vacation on the next island over from Epstein.
With Richard Branson.
Yeah, with Richard Branson, who's been a homosexual rights advocate since he was 15 years old. How many people at 15 that are gay now are gay rights activists? He was doing this like in the 50s?
60s, yes, sir. That's right. Yeah. So now before we run out of time, let's get into this Equality Act and talk about some of the highlights of it, because most of the mainstream news media is not talking about it. And as I shared with you, as I've been talking about it, somewhere with my daughters, my 12-year-old, 15-year-old, because while most of the agenda that they've been pushing has not been targeting the adults, they really have been targeting our children and coming into the schools and programs they're pushing into schools. So that, again, their focus anytime they want to bring out and roll out an agenda for the most part for generations to come. And they don't target the adults, they target, of course, the children.
Yeah, they're not going to try to change us. They want to brainwash the kids. Let's just do this real fast. Excuse me. You don't have to read more than the first line. H.R. 5, to prohibit discrimination on the basis of sex, gender identity. Gender identity means whatever arouses you sexually at the moment. If that's a pile of dog poop you see gets you horny, then you know that's what your gender identity is. I like dog poop. And there are hundreds of these. There's so many things. I mean, maybe you like putting maybe you want to put some matches on your testicle. Then that's what your gender identity is. I'm a flame lover, right? And it just changes. Then again, and sexual orientation. Listen to this again. To prohibit discrimination on the basis of sex, gender identity, and sexual orientation, comma, and for other purposes,
Mm.
as if they left anything out. And by the way, a gender identity can be minor attracted. This allows for pedophilia, necrophilia, sex with the dead, zoophilia,
Right.
sex with animals. This is what it says. They let you know, and for other purposes.
Right.
Other purposes, that's a blank check. And now let me get down because let me see. The very good website you can go to is congress.gov. Congress, CONGRESS, for all of our slow black people out here. Wonder why the Spanish speaking people are replacing us. At least they can wing it in Spanish. Damn. .gov. It's a crime that we have in Washington, D.C. 45% of the black men are functionally illiterate. Our population was 80% or more literate in 1969. We are stupider today than we were just after Dr. King got shot. It's a crime. And when you see someone spell something correctly, like Gandhi, there's a reason I spelled it differently. I knew what I was spelling. Now let me just get into some of this. I'm going down the section. I'm going down in this law to public accommodations. That's in section 3. Listen to this. They want to end prohibition on discrimination or segregation in public accommodations. Listen to this. Any establishment that provides a good, a service, or program, including a store, shopping center, online retailer, or service provider, salon, bank, gas station, food bank, service or care center, shelter. So if you're a homeless black woman, if they want to put a bunch of dudes who have like 12-inch ding-alongs that think that they're women, you've got to share that space with them. Shelter, travel agency, and listen to this, or funeral parlor. Okay. Or establishment that provides healthcare, accounting, or legal services. Any train service, bus service, car service, taxi service, airline service, station, depot, or any place or establishment that provides transportation service. And they left out churches here, but let me just emphasize here, a church provides many of the services I described, which means if I come in and I say that I'm a trans woman and I've got fake boobs, if you don't hire me, if this thing passes, you can be prosecuted. You're not going to have the right. Literally, every freak is going to have grounds to sue. There's some pretty freaky people out here. And just because you're not a degenerate doesn't mean that there aren't degenerates that want to do this stuff.
Right.
Okay. Prohibition of discrimination under the law. Okay. And they just, everywhere they put the stuff in here. So look at this. Listen to this. It shall be construed to include an individual whose operations affect commerce or who is a provider of a good, service, or program. Let's say that in as much as I can incorporate, someone could demand that I have a gay or transgender person be on this YouTube thing. And I couldn't say no. If they could say you need to have someone that's trans there.
Right.
We will, in particular, we black people, we're already messed up. You saw the movie Hurricane when the white pedophile was there, messed with black kids, and y'all laugh or say that never happened. It did. And stuff like that nearly happened to us growing up. White folk want to prey on you sexually, even as a child. I'll give you a quickie story. I sat on the toilet seat back in 1973. And to show you how nasty people are, whatever it did caused my mucous membrane. So let me just say, it basically made my penis swell up to like a big banana size. I mean, I wish it were that big today. Anyway, and it was so bad, we had to go to see the doctor to figure out how to get it back to the normal size. Sob. But it was swollen, so it didn't feel that good. And I'll never will forget the nurse that knew that I came in for an appointment to get treatment for my penis, white nurse, was doing everything that she could to try to see my penis. Everything. It got so annoying until the white doctor told her that she couldn't come in and look. And she stormed out. This actually happened to me. That white woman was pedo. What kind of woman wants to see a 7-year-old black boy's penis to the point of making it obvious to me?
Right.
Imagine to make all that legal. Folks are going to be able to do whatever they want to do. We already have an epidemic of white teachers teaching in black schools. They've purged most of public education of black teachers in many places. Now you have a bunch of freaky, kinky white folks who are screwing and smoking weed with black kids all over the country. And if you don't want their sex, they write you up as difficult and use some DSM term. You know what I'm saying? And or they put you on psychotropic drugs. And your parents, and they can have you taken from your parents if you're not taking the drugs to punish you. This is happening all over the country. This is why I hate the NAACP and and I dislike black preachers. To let this happen to black kids all over the country and no one says anything. Don't even whimper.
Right.
But if that kid's turned out and they're walking all gay, they'll condemn them for being homosexual. They'll condemn them for being a sodomite. But when people were preying on them, even their organists and choir directors, nobody says anything. And who has no rights? The illegals have more rights than we do. If they give these rights to the white racist sodomites, they're going to come into our neighborhoods and they're going to make us sexual slaves to white gays and lesbians. And this is a short. I haven't even read all this thing. Let me keep going. This thing is crazy.
Talk about as it relates to women's sports and how this will neutralize.
Well, basically, hold up. All I have to do is go back to the first line. If you get to be whoever you want to be, gender identity, that becomes federally protected. Look, they've got agreements with the existing DC City Council. There's a thing called the Gay and Lesbian Activist Alliance. You've got it in Baltimore too. They've already gotten, it's all over the country. They've already gotten the cities in which we live for people to agree. In order to get gay money and to get the Gertrude Stein and the Log Cabin, whatever it is, the gay groups that give you the support, you have to support some of the craziest legislation. It just hasn't been put out yet because they wouldn't have federal protection. But if this passes, let me give you an example. What the DC, many people that sit on the DC City Council have already agreed to back in 2012 was that your birth certificate should read whatever sex you want it to say. Without any operation. I could go on right now and be a woman. You're talking about women's sports. Let me just say something to you. A lot of women get stuff, as much as they whine and bitch about not getting anything. They should visit Africa or some other places. A lot of stuff set aside just for women that a man can't get. Sometimes jobs that women don't typically do, that women don't typically want, but that's set aside for women.
Right.
Do you realize under the Equality Act, if you're a woman that's in computers or a woman that's in construction or a woman in engineering or a woman in mathematics, you have any kind of firm, all of a sudden, me and Brother Daren could say we're women and we want the media grant for the women. And they can't and they cannot tell us no. These terms are pre-op. Pre-op means I don't need my penis cut off. I don't need to shave my mustache or beard. I can walk in looking like a dude call myself a woman, and get the contract. You women will lose. I was holding up this book. Let me grab this book by this lesbian. Because these people think I'm making this stuff up. It makes me so sick. Here's the book. Here's the book, Brother Daren, written by the lesbian guru. Her name is Judith Butler. It's called Gender Trouble. And what does it say? Feminism and the subversion of identity. What they want to do is get rid of. They say they're telling the women, we're going to free you. We're going to get rid of the patriarchy. But a lot of women figured out getting rid of the patriarchy means getting rid of womanhood. So there'll be nothing special. So you know what? They're not free condoms in the men's restroom. You know how they have the Kotex for the women? Well, basically, if they don't provide Kotex for men, they shouldn't provide it for women. Just think of it. There are all kinds of things that are going to be taken from women. If they don't put flowers in the men's restroom, they're not going to put flowers in the women's restroom because that's discriminatory. You know, I went to a bathroom in Kansas City, Missouri, in the archives for Black Archives. And in the men's restroom, there was a broken bottle, almost empty, of hand sanitizer. In the women's restroom, there were 8 bottles of almost everything there. Right. I'm not jealous, but I was like, damn, they didn't even give me as a male anything to wash my hands with because I'm male. With COVID, this is a kind of a favoritism that you women have gotten. It's going to be stripped. It's going to hurt like hell when you go into a bathroom and they don't put soap in yours because they didn't put soap in the men's restroom. They don't want to get sued. And there's no toilet paper in your restroom because there's none in the men's restroom. You get what I'm saying? There was nothing to wash my hands with because screw me, I'm a male. But the women had all this stuff.
Nothing they have to deal with not having soap, but they'll have to deal with men coming in too.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about I'm building up to it. The man coming in the restroom, the man pissing all over the seats, all this other kinds of stuff that men want to do. And on top of that, gender expression. If I'm a person that gets turned off to smelling body fluids or fecal matter, if I want to have sex in a public restroom, it will be legal. So imagine 2 dudes screwing in the woman's restroom and you guys have to deal with it.
Right. Now talk about the other part to that is they used the 1964.
I'm looking at it. Basically, all they're doing is inserting, the same term. Throughout the Civil Rights Act, they're putting in these terms. Right. They're putting in the term sex, gender identity, and sexual orientation, where they had sex, race, color, whatever. They're putting it in. So it's as if sucking a dick is the same as being black and not being able to get a taxi cab ride, not being able to get a loan. And by the way, they even have a provision in here where if they go to get a loan, or let's say you're renting a house, let's say you want to rent a room. If you don't want a bunch of drag queens in, you better not tell them no because the federal government will sue you for discrimination. You basically don't have the right to any of your beliefs, so these people can get screwed in the booty and swallow semen.
Now talk about, of course, another part of that is the Religious Freedom Act, and many of the religious groups.
Okay, that's right. Well, now it took 2 years ago. 2 years ago, when we started talking about this with Gone Too Far, and I shared this info because Jeannie didn't know, told these people that this was coming, right? And I reached out to Akbar Muhammad, and I've never gotten any support from NOI. They've been silent.
They opened the door for some of them.
I did. You can say that. I don't want any fruits. I don't want any fruits beating me up. I don't want.
Reverend Willie Wilson's church down there, you know.
Yeah.
So they opened the door and gave them a platform on that platform. So
they did.
That women, which Linda Sansar and Al Sharpton's girl was a Tamika Mallory and all of the rest of them. They opened the door. Jamal Bryant. They gave them the platform. You know. So again, I always keep saying there's going to be a backlash, unfortunately, for them doing that. But please continue, my brother.
The religious liberties, you've got Orthodox Jews. By the way, Reform liberal Jews support the Gay Equality Act. They also support. They own the Black Lives Matter movement too. Right, right. Who runs with that buffoon nigger Cornel West?
Well, not just Cornel West, Takahashi Coates, that stuff, right?
You mean I'm a pussy Coates?
Yeah, he control all of them, man.
Yeah. You have to get up under him, right? And so, but the Mormons.
And for those that may not know who Michael Lerner is, tell him quickly.
No, you tell him. I mean, he has that magazine Cocoon.
In terms of him being one of the reformed.
He's basically he's the godfather of liberal Jews, along with Rabbi Saperstein, who is the first person to reform a gay marriage in America, who is the most powerful member of the board of the national board of the NAACP.
That's right. Yeah.
And so the NAACP, and by the way, every single solitary major black gay organization in the country supports the Gay Equality Act. That's the Urban League, that's NAN, that's the NAACP, that's SCLC. It's all of them. And if they don't do it outright, they do it through the Leadership Conference for Civil Rights that Malcolm X warned us about, and the message to the grassroots. So, and by the way, 7 of your 8 largest black church denominations in the National Congress of Black Churches supports this. All of your Greek letter organizations support this. All of them. There's nothing black that we have that says this isn't a good idea that's been vocal. So all across the board, it's trash. This is what we've got. So hold on. So that's where we go. So next question.
Next question was why they, in terms of hating those that have gender reveal parties, to the point that they're even putting that out to say it's wrong for parents that want to have a gender reveal party to say they're having a little boy or a little girl.
Well, look, I haven't followed that, but I think it's kind of stupid. But I was going to say to you that the Seventh-day Adventists, the Catholics, the Reformed Jews, the Southern Baptists, all of a sudden, after 2 years, I think we were on your show 2 years ago telling people this is terrible, the sky is falling. Now all of these people have come out against it. Even the New York Post and other things have come out. I don't believe this bill will pass. If it does,
it's passed in the Congress.
So it passed, but here's the thing. Last time it was 300 and some votes to 100 and some votes. This time it was 224 to 206. The margin of support fell in the House, and in the Senate, several liberal Republicans have said no. Mitt Romney, the father of gay marriage in Massachusetts, has said no. The woman from Alaska who sponsored it last time has said no. There's another one that said no. Joe Manchin from West Virginia has said no. So 49, they only have 49 Democrats, which means that they need 12. They need 12 Republicans, 11 or 12. And even if they get, they need 60. So that means 49 plus 11 would get them 60. Where will they get the 11 from? In as much as they did have some support before, there's a thing that people need to understand. Why didn't this pass in 2019?
Come on.
And folk will get mad. People will get an attitude.
You know what?
Donald Trump said hell no. As much as you hate Donald Trump, because before Donald Trump came out against it, it was a handful of us saying, no, 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 please don't, please don't. But when Donald Trump said he wouldn't support it, all the conservative people came out and were against it. And therefore, it got to the Senate. and it never got to the floor because I think effeminate-looking Mitch McConnell, who's suspect. But you know what? There are a lot of gay people that don't want this bill.
Right.
There are a lot of gay folks that don't go to marches, don't have rainbow flags. They're people who have gone down a bad path sexually, but they don't want all the drama and insanity that they know better than we do goes with this gay thing. Okay, so they are against it. There isn't a monolith for gay people. They want you to think that they're 10, 15 million people and they're all united. It's not true.
Even the lesbians have come out against it.
Yes, so the white lesbians, by the way, but one group of people that have not been vocal against this Equality Act.
Who's that?
Black American women. I don't know where the hell black women are just damn out of their mind, batshit crazy. Batshit crazy on this. They'll be the greatest victims of this, and there's not one significant Democratic or liberal left of center black woman to come out and denounce this.
Right.
It'll be you in the restroom with white men or black men. It will be you and your girls raped, beaten, abused. And
or they'll be in the prison with these
with men, and black women are disproportionately represented in prison. They'll be in prison getting raped. What is it? What has to happen to black women for y'all to stop being so damn stupid? And I got to talk like this because I don't see nobody. It's 2 years. You have white lesbians that hate your guts that are speaking out against this. Not one. Y'all need to be in Maxine Waters' face. Y'all need to be in all these black political women's faces because they're using this Gay Equality Act got 59 votes. Every single solitary black member of Congress supported the Gay Equality Act.
Talk about how many of the states, and most of them we've seen Republican governors and state legislators see what Biden and the Biden administration was trying to do with fast tracking this, and they put in terms of state legislation to protect the rights of women. Also,
I'll give you a good example. The state of Texas has said that men can't be in women's sports. Whatever your birth sex is what you are. Yes. No, black women haven't been gagged. When the white lesbian feminists tell the black female group population to bite, they do it like a Doberman Pinscher on crack. When something's attacking black women and babies, black women are silent. Let's just say black men ain't shit and we've never done anything. Then damn it, if you're the backbone, if you're the ones holding up the sky, all those little conscious tramps talk about women holding, then damn it, hold up the sky. But if it's on the ground, nigga, you dropped it. Right. You want equality? You got more education than the men. They've sent us to jail. They've sent you to school. Where's all this education going? It's certainly not serving our community. It's not defending our children.
That's right.
And so, yes, we got to have this conversation. Are black men failing? Hell yeah, they're failing, but you're failing right along with us. And this is right in your damn bathroom, in your changing room. This is an attack on you, sisters.
Right. I think it's
and I've seen black men speaking out. I don't see black women. In fact, I'm going to tell you something. Almost all the black women organizations in this country are full of shit. It's a bunch of broads wearing big ass hats, talking shit and doing nothing.
Right. Yeah,
they don't do a damn thing for women. And by the way, that's what all the black feminists, womanists, the only thing I see them do is that they hate black men. I don't hate black women, but I'm going to speak truth to power. It's time to start calling y'all out when y'all don't do your share of the work. This is an attack on black women when a white lesbian will speak out against gayness. And you've got at least 27 black women in Congress, and not one of them has a question, not one adjustment, nothing. And these are the same sorry niggas that are going to go into the same black churches that they don't want to protect the rights for and let the gays do this. And who goes to church? You black women go. Because a lot of us can't go, we can't follow little fairy niggas that y'all up on. Like TD Jakes, his punk ass. And yes, he's suspect. Yes, I think he's a queen. I've always thought it. Okay. And he looks like he's been riding a pony.
For a long time.
Yes, riding the bull, and he's riding the horn too.
Not his son, but him too, brother. Yeah. So, get back. We just tuned in having a conversation with Brother Dr. Randy Sport as we're talking about this Equality Act. How do we begin? As I said to you, brother, the last time I brought it up, I had to have probably at least a 15 or 20-minute conversation with my daughters because they're in schools as our children.
And they're being propagandized instead of educated. What I would suggest that you do, that film, it's a really good film to start a conversation. Have your daughters watch the film that was shot in DC and other places called The Gift, where the guys talk about giving each other AIDS and how great it is, and how the guy who has AIDS wants 200 people to screw him that night. You need to show that to your daughters and sit there with them and show that to them. And
with mine, I mean, they can have the I would say this SUITE, the sweet education, right? They got the practical part or the theory part. They got to, today's children got to get holistic education.
Well, no, the holistic is to basically, they can go to YouTube and watch, like there's a really good film called Chicken Hawks, and it shows the men that want to have sex with children.
Yeah. We remember that's what the cartoon Chicken Hawks.
I understand, and present that to them and say, these are, let's be anthropological. This is what they say they want.
Right. Yeah.
And once you get there, a whole lot of people, are going to start saying, hey, wait a minute, hey, wait a minute, hey, wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm not mad, and here's the defense of the gay people. Get out of our bedrooms. Bullshit. You want to be in our children's bedrooms. You want to be in their classrooms. You want to be in their restrooms. You want to be everywhere. So to me, and by the way, the sorriest ass group of black people of all are black leftists. Cornel West and all of them, all of the black communists and socialists support the gay thing. They do. They talk about race and cops, all that stuff I agree with. But it's interesting. In exchange for a little mention of race, them running with their white people, you're going to kill black babies. You got to have trans. You got to have pedophilia. Well, to hell with your $15 an hour. To hell with your being against the police. I mean, in reality, the right only talks about abortion and educational choice, right? There should be a black movement that is holistic. Because we're so, pardon my language, fucked up as a people. There's been nothing to get at least a critical mass of people to call us to say we want the whole thing. I want reparations. I don't want my booty busted. I don't want sisters raped. I don't want folks shot in the street. I want safe drinking water. What's so hard about this? And by the way, I'll tell you one of the things that's hard. The biggest problem we have, I mean, to a lesser degree, you crescent coons, little coon-ass Muslims, there's some of them, is these no good nigger preachers. That's the one thing I like about COVID is that it has shut down a lot of these churches, and a whole bunch of preachers are broke, the ones that ain't getting the jab money to push this bad medicine on us. We're going to have some kind of awakening because either these niggas are going to go out of the religious faker business, or they're going to have to start doing real stuff for people. This is something, when I went, just so you know, since you're talking about Silly Wilson, that Baptist ministers group he's in, I got blackballed. Silly Wilson. Silly Wilson. Okay. Let me just say this, is that when I asked these pastors, can I speak to you? I was told that they had an agreement, all these Baptist ministers, not to talk to me. I couldn't even make a pitch. Right. And you're a moral leader.
Right. That's right.
So in reality, a lot of black folks, one of the best things that they could do is do not give money to not one of these nigger preachers that will not speak up for your rights. That will, and even if I don't have a program, I got witnesses. We tried to work with the food program, my little teeny fellowship. Only like 4 or 5 of us. We said, "Oh, this church has this food program. Well, we can volunteer and help feed the poor. We can at least do." They turned us down. They didn't want us there, right? But at least we wanted to do it. Do you get where I'm coming from? And it's a handful of us. When these people have mega churches and they got this bullshit going on, if these folks couldn't afford their Maseratis and their gated community housing because they didn't get the money anymore from the people, the same way you wouldn't go to a Ku Klux Klan gas station, although some of us would if they sold weave and blunts, okay? The same way that we would boycott nasty, vicious Asians with rats running out the front door, we should discriminate against any institution or organization, starting with the church, where that person does not care about a black person from pregnancy to their death. That nigga, only thing he needs 10% of is the bowel movement coming out of the crack of your buttocks. Give him 10% of that. In fact, give him 100%, and it's not good enough.
Right. Now, Doc, before we begin to run out of time, I want to get your thought on this case in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
They're gonna walk. He's walking. He's walking. Fats Domino has a song. I'm walking. Yes, indeed. And I'm talking for you and me, and I'm hoping that you'll come back to me. He's walking. He's walking. He's walking. But no, the psyop is this was set up just like with Mosby. She's a strong black woman. Okay, Minneapolis, they had that little jackass Muslim, Keith Ellison. So black and Muslim means proud and strong, and he's full of shit, man. He's no good. He's trash. And he underscores my point. Just because you got a name from an Arabic slaveholder doesn't mean that you're militant like Malcolm X. Malcolm X for me is one of a kind, just like Nat Turner is. Right. So look, that guy, he's going to walk. All of them are going to get off. The black folks are going to riot, and they're going to come in and they're going to kill a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of stupid black folks, and others are going to get shot and killed. And it's so sad. But you know what? A lot of these folks think they're bad. You saw the shootout I sent you. There was a shootout that happened 4 days ago outside of Cup Foods with people shooting and killing each other. They've gotten rid of the police. There's going to be so many police on black people's asses when they act out in Minnesota. It's going to bring down more repression on the black community. And dumbass niggas think that Black Lives Matter is a part of the solution. They will have brought this on all of us. They've made our lives worse. Watch it happen. Watch it happen.
But for those that may not know, as we kind of like revisit this whole thing with George Floyd, the guy that was in the car with him, the woman that was in the car, like Rodney King. There was 3 other people in the car with Rodney King, with 2 other people. 8 weeks later, both of them guys was dead. To this day, we only know about the one guy that was in the car with George Floyd. We don't know the one. We haven't even seen a picture of her, right?
Right.
But the media won't even talk about it. I want to get you, and then of course, just as you keep saying, during the civil rights movement, we vetted those like Jimmy Lee Jackson, vetted those that was put out there, right? Rosa Parks, right? But you take people like George Floyd, and they're basically what's the word I want to look for? Basically, they just cleaning up the beatification.
They make them saints, and they're black trash. They're part of the problem in our community. George Floyd was a drug-using pedophile. Okay. And this is all going to come out. And if they show little videos of them screwing black little girls, if I were in the jury, I'd be for someone putting their leg on his neck too. Okay. And I don't want people to die like that, but damn, I don't. He's not defendable. When they put out the story that he put a gun to the belly of a woman having a baby for him and he threatened to kill her, when they do this stuff, but by the time they get through with that jury, they're going to bring out stuff we've never heard of. Look, those Palestinians own $250 million or $500 million worth of land. They can buy anything that they want, and they've got backup. The same way that the Chinese came out for the dude that shot Akai Gurley, these Arabs will unite and pour money on this to make certain that they dodge the bullet, because if this thing goes down, they lock up those white guys. They're going to sing about the bribes and the drugs sold out of cup foods and the linkages to other Arabs who are pushing dope and stuff in black neighborhoods. They're willing to let those three go, let black people be angry. They'll get mowed down and burn up the neighborhood. We can buy up more at pennies on the dollar. And dumbass black people don't see it coming because a couple of lesbians told them follow them.
Never went after the store where it all started, right?
Because Benjamin Crump not only looks like Curious George, he's dumber than Curious George. Benjamin Crump is the inverse opposite. He's the black Perry Mason. He's black and he never wins, but he always gets paid. That's the one thing. Perry gets paid and Crump gets paid. That's the only similarity between the fictional lawyer who was great and the fake black leader who's fake.
He's fake, right? Yes, sir. And of course, for those who don't know, we always say Crump is tied to John Moore, the white fat attorney out of Florida, who's been a big bundler for Obama and the Democratic Party. Is that correct?
Say that again.
John Moore, who Crump comes out of Morgan and Morgan law firm.
Yeah, I mean, the man is, and he's winning all these millions of dollars everywhere. He doesn't get justice. He gets a payoff. What's happened, sadly, is that black people have allowed their murders to become a lottery. Maybe if the police shoot the son I don't like by my first husband, we could get $20 million. Here, come here. Let me get this boy high. I have seen mothers give dope to their kids at 3 and 4 years old when they didn't like the daddy, make them a gangster and bring them the money. And then when they get shot, she's got on more black than the dark side of the moon, crying like she's a good mother. Oh, there's some sorry-ass black mothers out here. I'm going to talk about you hoes. I've seen it. I'm not going to be silent. There's some great ones, but not enough. The jails wouldn't be full. A lot of stuff wouldn't happen if some of y'all weren't sorry. So, look. Yes, absolutely.
You know who you are. And you know who we talking about. We're talking about tonight. So we're going to begin to wrap up. Y'all got to get some closing comments. And we're going to do a part 2, of course, on Saturday on the State of the City radio show. And if your schedule permits, as I said before, we're going to bring you over and have you live.
Well, schedule does permit. So, I want to let everybody know we are going to do our Sabbath sermon, but it'll be a little later. I will be continuing my series on in fact, it's going to be Black Man and Woman, Listen to God. I want to do something on black self-hatred, but it's going to be from the woman's thing. I'm riding Michelle Obama and all the other little tramps like her. Don't worry, sisters. I'm on Simps next. Simps right. Going to get to take them to the woodshed. They're not going to get out. So, yeah, brother, let me tell you, people need to keep their eyes peeled. They're beginning to have wars break out in Africa. Right. Ivory Coast. I mean, folk are killing in Africa again. It's really, 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 really sad that they're killing folks, killing one another again. Ivory Coast, all the people that keep putting in posts keep dropping dead. About 3 or 4 high-level people, all of them keep dying because Ouattara, the little crooked, no good, French butthole-licking, white whore Jew humping right. His wife's a white whore, Jewish. It's true. I said it. Right. It's true. I mean, and she's a whore, and she's been passed more around than like a $50 bill at a casino. Lord Jesus. And this African dude think having something used up like that, they probably have to dredge her loins to move the fluid out for all the people been up in there. But anyway, let's
Let's get some closing comments and your contact info.
Okay. Well, the best thing to do is email me if, but serious people, not foolish folks, please. Right. There's not enough time in my day to deal with fools. So that's WRandyShort at Gmail. It's on my screen. That's also if you want to send a buck or two, and that's going to help. Don't you like I got cameras? I got like, in fact, if I had this other thing, I'd be on Twitch, but I've been so annoyed by what YouTube put me through to get on here. So,
YouTube,
yeah,
Facebook,
yeah, absolute fake book.
right?
But I absolutely want people to participate in the YouTube channel. Randy Short is a YouTube channel. Um, man, Instagram. I mean, if you look for Randy Short, if you just put it up there, you will find me. Trust me. They will let you know I'm here. They want all the racists to know where to find and shoot me, and whatever good that's going to do them. I think if man, they don't shoot everybody, and it isn't. They didn't shoot Dick Gregory. You know why they didn't shoot Dick Gregory? If they shot Dick Gregory, it would have made so many more people like him. Now, so I think I'm kind of safe. Remember what Dick Gregory said? Did he ever tell you the thing that reason they didn't shoot him is he didn't mess with drugs or white women? Did he ever tell you that?
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
Well, I don't want the women, and I don't want no drugs either. So
Right.
I think I might make it. And man, I'm headed towards 60. Maybe I'll live as long as Baba Gregory. Now, look, Gmail, you got Cash App is Dr. Randy Short, Dr. Randy Short. And I do want to say to people, I do have a wish list. I got my brother Kulik, and he's coaching me on how to set up podcasts. In fact, my mom's going to start doing a podcast. I'm going to help her set up too.
Okay.
Yes, my mom wants to fight feminism.
Yeah. Quickly, because I always keep saying that we need more and more ordinary brothers and sisters to do their own podcasts.
They do. And there's enough space for everybody. If folks aren't playing foolish, they're like, I had a brother do something and they got a phone number of someone that I know and called someone without talking to me or clearing it with me to talk to them. Right. And I basically, when I got an angry call from the person that says, "Did you give this person my phone number?"
Right.
I says, "No, I didn't. I'm pretty certain I didn't." And I understood, says, I know who gave the phone number and they decided to use my name. Right. One of the things that people need to do is have a little bit of morality. In fact, that's what's killing us as Black people. I missed the show Wednesday last week, but I think I called and apologized to you about 3-4 times. I take your time seriously. I would not do that to people. There are a lot that my thoughts, niggas, stop playing games with each other. Be for real. Want to be free or accept being a slave. And if you want to be free, it's going to require sacrifice. Freedom isn't free, and sacrifice isn't like not drinking Coke for a day. It may mean a lot of different things. So trust me, I mean, I don't want to buy any equipment. I was happy with just a computer, but the camera doesn't look as good. The camera looks good here. It looks good here. In fact, I'm going to put it on my iPhone. So for other people who like it, and I'm going to have to buy a new microphone, a better one than what I've got here. You get where I'm coming from?
Yes, sir.
But we need to be for real. And everyone can't do the same thing, but do what you can do. I can't rap like you do. I don't try. I don't know. I'm going to learn how to do some of this digital stuff, but I'm not trying to be a tech person. There's some people who really know how to do all this stuff. Great. I want to be me. Okay. And be yourself. Help somebody else. And by the way, y'all, food insecurity is an issue. I'm going to beg people. If you go and look, the price of seeds is much higher this year than last year.
Everything's going up, brother. Gas prices, everything's going up right now.
If you can get a little bit of garden or something, go in, get yourself some seeds from the dollar store. Try to grow something. You have no idea. When lettuce is 50 cents more ahead than what it was last year, when carrots have almost doubled in prices, cucumbers are 20 cents higher a piece, food's going up. Y'all should be thinking, I'm going to keep telling people, get a garden, get a farm, and I'm going to have to humble myself and go to one of the white lesbians in the neighborhood that's in charge. Oh God, help me! Give me humility, God.
Can't do that, bro.
Yes,
Can't
no. You know why? If I want to use some space to farm, it's a couple of blocks. I want to put some fruit trees down. I don't have space in my yard.
right.
Uh, if I put them up there, I have to like humble myself and ask, can I put some stuff there? And if they say yes,
Right.
that's okay.
Now, before we lose you, talk about the importance is what we saw in Texas and what we saw in Mississippi with these rolling
Well,
blackouts,
look,
right?
first and foremost, this stuff
Put
that
away some water, as we've been talking about.
okay.
Non-perishable
Look,
foods.
they
because it's getting warm. We shouldn't continue those things.
they sewed the clouds with aluminum and other stuff to make it snow
Right.
like that.
Right.
That was a weather operation against the people there, and on top of that, they were able to go in and force people to get vaccinated. And I hope they weren't many of us, but you know how that is. In Mississippi, let's be honest, the white people in Jackson are doing great. They probably have water to give their dogs and cats.
Yep.
That's a black city. It's 80% black. It's another example of coon Democrats who serve everybody but us.
Sure.
And I'm not saying that Chokwe Lumumba's at fault. Those pipes are old, and his father was there, and the pipes were old. But damn it, when you have a problem like that, see, that's some nigga shit. What Chokwe Lumumba's son did, that was some coonish stuff, brother. If you had needed water, you should have gone on the radio and anywhere else. And if you had to beg, if you had to do a Sammy Davis soft shoe, Mr. Bojangles dance, you can't exist without water. Okay, brother. When I was sick and I came back from Nashville, do you know I didn't eat for 6 or 7 days, but I did have water every day. I didn't need to eat for. I mean, that's sort of why this turkey neck got smaller. I didn't eat for 7 days. I didn't really have much of an appetite, but I had to drink. So if these people didn't have water, they should have gotten it. This is the second time it's Flint. What does it say? It's we black people's fault that we accept traitor, sellout, shithead, bitch ass men and bitch ass women because they know how to talk. You accept the slave's lot, you'll get a slave's lot. Right. You have to put pressure. Stop wanting to be popular and think about being free.
Sure.
As long as, in fact, when we fit in, we were enslaved. When we fit in, we were segregated. Right? Now that we're fitting in, we're being assimilated. They're all destructive processes.
Right. That's right. So let's get closing comments. But again, remind our people, as I always say, put you away some water. Put you away some water, put you away non-perishable foods, because if those rolling blackouts occurred in Texas, they occurred in Mississippi, they occurred in Alabama, they could take place in your city, even though we're getting ready to hit the spring.
And I'm going to get a couple of these when I go to the dollar store. This is a good brand. They're black people that sell water too, but I'm just going to say to you, now this is just 2 gallons, and I'm going to get some more. I'm going to have about 10, 12 gallons of water. Save water, get canned goods, be prepared. They don't care about anybody.
That's right.
Okay, the fact that they're pushing all these vaccinations, they're prepared. They're going to take a whole bunch of these old, crusty white folks, the ones with, the kind of, the ones with Confederate flags in their yard. They're going to get rid of all of them. The trailer park's going to be empty. Leisure World's going to be like, the new hangout place for singles. These folks don't care about nobody. Wake up, stand up, strap up, farm, get some water, do something. Find something creative to do with your time. Don't drink, don't smoke, don't drug. Learn about some herbs. Do you know Dr. Kolkai?
No.
You've heard of him?
No.
He's one of Dr. Sebi's students. He's a. We need to talk. I've got a couple of people. In fact, Brother Daren, just for something smooth, I have an open invitation to invite my wonderful friend, the songstress Brenda Holloway. You've heard of her?
About it.
Well,
you told me.
I'll give your email. I've sent it to other people. She works with youth, but this woman was like a rival to Diana Ross, sings better than
Mhm.
Diana Ross. And she's into black men and black people.
Okay.
And there are other things. And I don't know, Brother Daren, I should talk to you. Um, One of the things that I'm doing now is to just look for and search out people who have significant stories
Hmm.
to tell, either in writing or video, and see if
Yeah, you told
what
me.
what they
Right.
have overlaps, because you may have something.
Yes, sir.
So,
Absolutely.
and by the way, the Buckbreaker film comes out April 30th.
Right. Burn. I saw the trailer for that. Right.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, you saw it.
yeah, I saw the trailer. You were in the trailer. I think Wesley Muhammad and a few other people I saw in the trailer. Right. Umar Johnson's not in this one, is he?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But
Tariq Nasheed. What is he?
and hopefully, my brother, this book will get done. Canned goods, get what you can get. Dried goods,
Right.
have something you might
Right.
need it.
Yeah.
And just be aware that this whole struggle between Trump and Biden's not over. If you think
Yeah.
it's
That's not over.
over,
We didn't talk about that tonight, but it's
it's
still.
it's not over. I mean, these white people are still fighting, and we
Yeah.
better figure out what we're going to do to keep our behinds from getting trampled.
Right.
So please learn about it. In fact, I got to tell you this one thing.
Yes.
My cousin is head of the National Black Farmers Association. You have
Mm.
got to have his wife on the show. They're being threatened. They're threatening to murder black farmers all over the country now.
Mm. Okay.
They're threatening to over this $5 million in the COVID bill.
Mm.
You saw little punk ass Lindsey Graham, who looks like Angela Lansbury with a mediocre sex change.
They
Um,
said 5 billion. Five. That's
but
a drop in the bucket.
it is a drop in the bucket. But
They
understand,
want to murder for
but
5 billion.
but black farmers only get 25% of it. So
Mm.
they get 1.25 billion, which is less than the 2.2 billion they gave the Hispanics just a couple of years ago.
That's
It's
right.
it's not enough, and they're
Right.
being threatened, getting death threats and everything. I heard
Yeah,
this
with
from my cousin's wife today.
the
We
reach out
we need
and
to do something to protect our black farmers, and a lot of us need to start thinking about moving our asses out of the city. You ain't doing nothing in the city any damn way.
if they're killing the cities, we eventually may have to uproot and move to
Well,
some of these that are open right now.
yeah,
You know,
get
open. That's 16, 17 states that's open, and the majority of them are Republican governors headed up states that are open, where the Democratic controlled states are still shut down, or they're opening up 25% capacity, but still got all these restrictions, and not to mention, of course, this mass push to put these synthetic, and which we're going to talk about Saturday, stop calling them vaccines. They are synthetic and injectable
but
pathogens.
it's negative gene therapy, and not only that, why would any believer, okay, take something called luciferase?
Right,
And
right,
I
yeah,
just hear Lucifer, I'm out. I don't care what the hell it
yeah,
is. I mean,
yeah. Not
if
to
if,
mention
if
the
it's not if it's not
the
if
healer
it's
tablets in there as well, and we'll talk about what's in it on Saturday as well.
okay, let's do that.
Where they about what's in it as well. So let's get again closing comments, and we're gonna wrap
This
up.
person, Solid Cam, put up something, and I'm going to repeat this. I've been talking around it. Solid Cam says discipline is the biggest factor for protection. We
It's
need
true.
to become a disciplined people. Our greatest strength is discipline, morality, and righteousness.
That's right.
Okay, and I never knock the guns. I don't knock
Right.
business. I don't knock cash. I don't knock happiness.
Nope.
But if you have discipline and
Right.
morality, it will help you use the gun,
That's
money,
right.
a hammer, a hoe, coding, a computer. If you have a computer, we'll be doing intelligent stuff instead of looking at kitty porn or looking
Right.
at it's something filthy. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I want to thank everybody on the Randy Short channel and encourage you, if you have a question, When I'm talking, I may not respond to your questions. You've got
Right.
my email. If it's a
That's right.
worthwhile question, I try to respond to every question that I get. I try to. If I don't, maybe I have to follow. There was a sister that had to write me 3 times for the affidavit, but I sent it.
Yes.
I'm not trying to ignore you. And then again, I want to say to some of you, when you get people like Brother Daren and I,
Come on.
who aren't afraid, like a sister called and said, "Hey, look, I need some help to find someone that may be able to finance me keeping my house."
Right.
And she was saying all this stuff, and I had to say, "Hey, sister, I heard you. I heard you. I think I know
Right.
someone that can help you." That's something our little fellowship might be able to help people
Right.
with. I believe we can. I'll
Right.
call you tomorrow. We can help one another, and that's the other thing is serve one another, help one another.
Right.
Jesus
Right.
Christ said the greatest person is the one who serves other people.
Right.
We've got that twisted where the greatest person, like this jackass TD Jakes, or these are people who serve themselves, Jesse Jackass, and
Right.
others. I mean,
Right.
if we helped each other a little bit,
Come on, brother.
we would get so much further. You're helping me, Brother Daren. I haven't done this. I have about 214 people looking and 18 people up here. I haven't had this many people looking, but by you saying, "Yeah, let's do this," this is,
Yes.
and this is, forgive me, they still see me. At least I'm not sneezing and coughing and hacking
Right.
every 2 seconds.
Get better.
So getting better. So look, love each other and learn about herbs. Learn
Right.
about natural medicine. Save up. In fact, you can't see it, but I've been eating black cumin seeds. Do you know it makes your hair
Mm-hmm.
turn dark if
Yes,
you
sir.
eat it? So my hair is like kind of black. It was white couple of weeks ago, and now it's beginning to get dark. You can eat and benefit from it. It's kind of nice to see a little bit of darkness in there instead of me looking like Sleepy Hollow and blackface.
Right.
So, by the way, I want to remind folks I got to make a call or two, but
All right. So we're on Saturday, 12 noon. I'll be in contact with you before
yes,
then.
yes,
Thank
yes,
you, brother.
yes, yes.
And I don't know if I'm back. I don't think I'll be back up on YouTube. So we'll do Facebook Live,
Well,
Instagram, and on your YouTube. And
right, yeah, we'll do YouTube. That's
right. All right, my brother. Go in peace.
Okay.
And you gave out all your information before we wrapped up. Right?
Yes. I mean,
Okay.
and again, thank everybody for
Thank you.
that. All these new stands and things that I got.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Now, how are you on your subscribers? You did reach 1,000, right? I know we talked about that.
no, it's brother. Thank you. It's 3,120.
Okay.
And so I want a couple people on Randy Lancaster's short. That way I can have a backup channel. I went live. I went live, and they found out, he's growing. They said you can't go live anymore. Certain people can go live if they have 50 people. I have to have 1,000 plus to go live.
Right. Yes, sir. Right. All right, my brother. Go
All
in
right.
peace and
Thank you.
All
right. See you then. All right.
God bless.
God bless. Bye bye.
Just tuning in. Just concluded our conversation with Brother Dr. Randy Short. I want to thank you for having us up and on. We got Princess Asada, and she left me. So we're gonna wrap up. Got to thank Dr. Short for joining me on the live version of the State of the City. Let's see if we can get this back up, get this on, so we can wrap up there. And
okay. All right, y'all. Thank you for participating. And I have all my books stacked up. I've been trying to make certain that I didn't disturb y'all with all my unhygienic coughing and gagging. I think it's about over. I've got to make a couple of calls. And by the way, I've had a lot of problems with YouTube of late. It didn't allow me to put announcements in. So what I'm going to try to do, I've got to make a couple of calls. If I get everything done that I need to do, we're going to try to go to war and do one of these, do some readings. I missed this too much. I missed the sharing, and I'm sorry. So yeah, do you see that? That's my I yes, I actually do take the donations and use it on buying stuff. So I got all kinds of stands, and I've got to just work so I can have my Twitch working. So you'd be able to see me on YouTube, Twitch, StreamYard, Facebook, any place. We're gonna put it everywhere we can. And so anyway, I'm just glad everybody's here. I hope people are learning something. I've just asked. Yeah, I've got to look up some of these old. Oh my God! When I complain about sisters, it is because I don't love them. I grew up seeing incredible black women, and I hate to see that lost. I like Mary Wilson. I like Brenda Holloway. I like Frida Payne. I like Claudette um, uh, Robinson. These are women, they're almost 80 some odd years old and still looking good, still representing. We have to recover that and stand in the gap for it. And I want to encourage people. We've got to really farm, grow, do anything. When I go out my backyard, just sing my strawberry roots that I bought last year that I didn't really get any fruit off of. Seeing that over the winter they grew, and I've got a whole package of strawberry roots. I'm gonna see if I can grow some strawberries this year. What happened to the other camera? It looked clearer on your older videos. I don't know what happened to it. Is that better? That is better. Maybe there was some grease, some smudge. I had some fried chicken or something. I hope it's better. Forgive me. I didn't know that. Sometimes tell me. I was looking and said, God, that looks smudged. So, and I've got to figure out how to um, put this. I'm going to look to put this. Now I've got all my Mac stuff. Is to my Twitch channel is going to be through my iPhone. So the video will be so much better than this little cheap Mac thing. And I thank all of you for watching, paying attention, and I'm looking forward. I want to do some stuff really badly. You have no idea. I've been like pissed to not be able to share. So anyway, it's 10:18. Let me make a few calls and maybe we can get back together. Love and peace to everybody. A good night for now. If I do another thing, I'll put out a posting. Pray for my family, man. This guy getting thrown off the roof, man. That's that's a lynching. That's a lynching. I've never heard of anybody in my family getting lynched before. That's well, Emmett Till. That's in Mississippi, but right here in D.C., be careful. They've got killers on these police departments. They've got killers in the streets. You got to be careful. It's making a religious Negro out of me in my old age. Anyway, love, peace, power, MFM. I've been reaching out to this reparations expert. I'm going to call and get his number. Y'all be good. We're going to keep pushing this. Take care. Bye bye. I'm out of here. I'm out of here.